Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining us tonight, all you Skele Vaderites, Ozholes, and Blushers. It's good to see you all here again, joining myself, Ostradamus Toys, this evening. We have Vintage MOTU Bobby, as well as Classics Gray Skull, and its ever as popular co-host, Shawn Scavarna. Just a quick little bit there. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, all things considered. You know, it's been a crazy hectic week, but it's been a good week, very good week. And you know, just happy to be here talking toys again with everybody. You know, like this is one of the big highlights of my weeks. It always rolls in with Wednesday night, Duchess of Darkness, you know, doing Wicked Wednesdays. Just an amazing show every week, guys. If you haven't been watching, go like, subscribe to our channel, catch every Wednesday. It's fantastic.
Yes.
And then I know that means we go live tonight. And that's always a blast. I love hanging out with you guys and just talking this crazy toy MOTU world we live in these days. And then it rolls into the weekend and there's all got everything. Also this week, I don't know if you guys watched it at all. I don't know if you guys watched Toy Anxiety or not, but they had the Jeffries this week. Did you guys happen to check that out at all? See what the buzz was about?
I have not. Nope.
I wasn't able to yet.
If you get a chance, go check out Toy Anxiety. They did the Jeffries, which is their award show like the Oscars that they put on for all the toys of 2022. And they've done it for the past couple years. It's fantastic and hilarious. Their skits, great. Absolutely amazing.
Awesome. Cool.
So, where should we begin tonight, guys? What do we, well, I guess we should talk about the fact that why we have Cool Uncle Shawn hanging out with Bobby and Oz again on a Thursday night at Toy Frenzy.
They couldn't get enough of us last time, so now he's back. He thought he wasn't going to be back either. So
I was questioning, but boy, that was a quick turnaround, man.
Damn straight.
You see what it was is, you know, when Skele came back, he actually appreciated it after he whipped our knuckles and everything else. I think he got a little too excited about it all.
My fingers are better now.
They're feeling a lot better now.
I was quite surprised when he answered my question. He's like, I was laughing. I'm like, cool, okay.
Well, I hope he's ready for more because he's going to get it again, which means our knuckles are going to be hurting for another 2 weeks.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That's all right. The weekly pain, we can do it.
Yeah, we can handle it. It's totally worth it. Every second. But the reason, unfortunately, that Skele is not with us tonight, he recently had some loss in his family. And so he's taking this week off and he may not be with us next week. We're going to play it by ear and see how Skele's feeling. However, Shawn has agreed to be our substitute co-host for as long as we need him on loan from the Legends of Grayskull podcast, because the Dooch is gracious enough to share you with us. And actually, I just heard that Classics Grayskull likes our show better than Legends of Grayskull. So I mean, whoa, it wasn't me.
Well, the beauty that is Classics Grayskull, he's thrilled that it's a toy show, but whereas Legends of Grayskull is always more story related and you know the mythos related, as it were. So yeah, it's like, hey, I'm on the spotlight. Ooh, let's do this. So
that's right.
Plus, he loves the call outs.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. We're always shouting out.
Yeah.
So, guys, I want to get here and real quick, Gamerbud has given us another beautiful intro to start tonight. And this time we're going to have some participation. Okay. Participation counts from you fellas.
Yep.
So
thanks, Gamerbud, for my buddies.
My buddy's Customs, as he is now known. It's going to take a while to still get used to that, but he put out a live too recently talking about more of what's going on with this channel, and so glad he's actually going live and sharing his customs and everything with us now. It's fantastic. So guys, let's begin this here.
Getting good voice.
Right? Got to get ready for it. Got to get that announcer voice going.
The deepness.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Rubber baby buggy bumpers. Ha! All right.
What the hell?
I can't get started now. See, look.
What would the Mandalorian do?
Where's my helmet?
Or what?
Yeah.
What would I'm trying to? What would Zodak do? You know, like on Filmation, he had that very calming effect and all.
Right.
He would just
But this
stare
is
at
not
everybody,
that show.
blink twice, and be like, "Nah, forget this. I'm out."
Yep.
Hello and greetings, Skele Vaderites, Ozholes, and Bobby's Blushers. And for tonight, Skavarnian Nights. Name still pending.
Yeah.
Welcome to Toy Frenzy. We are joined tonight by Shawn. Oh God, he's back again. Hold on to your butts, people. And his wonderful co-host. Oh, wait, I didn't realize you got top billing this time. And his wonderful co-host, Mattel's Classics, Castle Grayskull. Please keep us safe. We have Ostradamus all to MOTU hell and rocking the sexy tats, a hand over his mouth to cover his giggling face, the maestro of spitting the man with the rough but sensual fingers. Bobby, damn it, get your hot dog out of the Vicks. Beautiful, blushing Bobby MOTU.
Yeah.
MOTU.
I hear an echo.
And a special Patreon shout out to Bring the Pains while he samples the toys. Sounds kinky. Welcome, Pains Toy Samples, to the patrons. To the frenzied, actually, as we call it on there.
Yep.
Now, be sure to check out all the Frenzyverse, Awesomeverse, and other shows on their respective channels. Legends of Grayskull just dropped a new episode yesterday. Make sure to check them out while they talk about Masterverse comic issue number 1. We have Sunday afternoons with Skele Vader on Weekly Weirdos. Thursdays Toy Frenzy with all our boys, and Saturdays with Oz on Ostradamus Live with monthly episodes of Legions Class for all you Mythic Legions talk, or for all your Mythic Legions talk. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Patreon and viewers like you. Patreon is a subscription-based service where you can offer bonus content, exclusive offerings beyond the free-to-view show you are watching right now. You get early access to Skele Vader's podcast, Cambridge and Shawn, through his Patreon. If you give Bobby enough money, well, hell, pretty much do anything. Well, he'll pretty much do anything you ask, despite his saying no. Supporting any of these three... This sounds a little like grape.
Is that me? Is that what I do?
Apparently.
I must be easy.
Hey, Bobby, look, you give the people what they want. All right.
That's right.
And that's all that matters. You're giving people what they ask for.
Nipple picks are a little extra.
Yeah.
Little extra. Make sure you throw in that bonus money, folks.
Yeah.
Supporting any of these three guys, Patreon supports the show, and all the funds go right back into the show to make it a better viewing experience. Do you know what else you get from Patreon? Hey, Bobby, did you know we have a Discord server?
A Discord server? Golly gee, what is that? I have to say that. That's what it says.
See, folks, you too can make Bobby do what you want if you pay him enough money.
Let me do that over. A Discord server? Golly gee, what is that?
Discord is a free-to-use community message board where you can create channels to discuss whatever you want. You can voice chat with multiple people at once.
Like a three-way call. Bring the mashed potatoes.
Oh boy, that sounds peachy.
You know it, Bobby. And did you know for the low price of $3 a month, you can join this Discord server?
$3. $3. Hang on, what's my line? Oh, $3. Holy Toledo! What kind of value do we get for that low price?
Oh,
Well,
shit.
Shawn, you can chat with the other Patreon about all kinds of things. Toys, different toy brands like Mattel, Hasbro, Bandai, McFarlane Toys, indie toys, boutique brands. We have TV show, movies, music, video games, custom figures, custom photos, custom dioramas, the tailor. Still don't know what this channel is for, and we have the Hearth, where you can share your headcanon, dark stories, fan fiction, erotica. I mean, the point is you can chat about anything. And just for your information, the tailor is for soft goods.
Oh, it's me. Wow. Wow, Oz. That sounds like you put a lot of work into it. I'm going to go into a music channel right now. Punk rock, baby.
Yes, punk rock indeed, Bobby. So head over to patreon.com and sign up now.
Oh, shit.
And now on to tonight's show. Back to you, boys.
Oh, that went better than I thought it was going to be.
Actually, yeah, it flowed really well. It was pretty damn good. My buddy's Customs, thank you so much for writing these each week. I have fun reading them, even though I look like a complete ass most of the time.
Yeah, right.
Them, but
Well, look at the lines I had to read. The golly gee.
Golly
loved
gee.
I loved it. I'm gonna
Oh,
start calling
man.
you the Beeve.
No, don't put that out there, asshole.
That's Ozhole. Get it right, buddy.
Oh, shit.
No. Bobby will always be blushing Bobby Beautiful.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Oh, you know you're gorgeous.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, let's get in and jump into the chat here because it was exploding before I went off on all that.
Yeah, I know. All I saw was like 77 comments. I didn't even see what the chat was saying yet because I had to keep it
Oh
on
my God.
that script.
We got no idea. We're, 7 minutes late and 20 minutes into the show. We haven't even really started yet. This is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
All
good
right.
stuff.
Let's go through here. And of course, my buddy's Customs showing right up on time for the chat. We've got Payne's Toy Samples in the house saying good evening. Thanos Copter is here with us again as usual. Thank you, brother. Oh, shoot. Something got into my eyes here, guys. Hang on a minute. I gotta find something to clear out.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, no. Like my eyes just started burning out of nowhere and they're tearing up and I can't read. Carry on. Talk amongst yourselves. Ignore the wizard behind the curtain with the runny eyes. All right, let's try this again here and see if I can actually make it through.
There you go.
I'm probably going to need to do that again at some point. All right, so I left off with Thanos Copter here, and then there's a bunch of in-talkings. I absolutely love seeing all this every week.
Yep.
Duchess of Darkness is in the house joining us, as always. Thank you, Duchess, so much for being here. Carol Geist is here as well. What's up, big sis? K-Roll in the Heezy. We're probably going to lose viewers for that one. Definitely just lost a whole bunch of subscribers. Sorry, Skelly. Because this is still on his channel.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not losing the subs tonight.
It's still people that watch us, though.
That's true. They went over and clicked on my channel and said, yep, forget this guy.
Yeah.
We've got Figuratively Speaking in the house joining us as well. What's going on, John? Glad to have you here, man. And Ronald, reloaded there. Ronald Embry joining us this evening. Good to see you every week. Man, I love seeing the same names every week.
I know, it's awesome. The dedication is just fantastic.
I agree, man. Every week these people are here supporting us, just talking about toys. I love it. And they're all amazing people, too.
Yes, they are.
Emerald Knight Photos joining us as well. This past weekend, he was a guest on my show, and we talked all about toy photography. It was a blast, a great time.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, Bobby joined in, too.
I did. I crashed the party.
Always,
I guess.
love having you guys. It's great, man. We had a blast.
Yeah, it was
It's
fun.
always good. Oh, wait. Hold on a sec. It took Bobby a whole 3 seconds to start blushing.
Has he got me on a timer now?
I think so. He's getting the minutes down of the shows.
He's got the stopwatch.
He's like, how long until Bobby blushes? Go. All right. Nolan is
I'll
joined
just
us
sit
again.
backwards, then you can't see me, you know?
There you go. Pull a whole Dr.
A
Claw type
Yeah, I
thing.
was just gonna say
I'll just
Dr.
have my
Claw.
arm.
Yeah.
Do
You
it,
hear
pull
me
up.
talking?
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Oh,
You got to have a cat too. You got to have a cat if you're going to do that.
I'll get my shadow beast.
There you go.
Pet the
Yeah,
shadow beast.
that'll work. I dig it. We've got Nolan joining us this evening. Nolan, glad to have you here. And Dawn Roberts has joined in on the chat as well. Dawn, glad to have you back. Good to see you again. We have Alf Inflict this evening as well, saying, "Hey guys, how goes it? Good to have you here, Alf. Thank you."
He was sending me some Guar stuff today. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh my God. If you follow him on IG, he's got all kinds of awesome stuff posted all across his channel for music as well as MOTU. I love seeing it. JMax77's in the house. Greetings, guys. I'm here for the truffle shuffle. Everybody knows what people want. What does everybody want?
It'll be coming.
Oh yeah, getting ready. All
Nick
right.
on After Dark, baby.
That's right. That's right. And Ray Black has joined us this evening as well. Ray, good to have you here. Thank you. And continuing to scroll down here because I don't want to miss anybody. I mean, these people, everybody.
There's a lot of people in it today. Yeah.
I know. Oh man, Masters of the Mini Comics has joined us. A tribute. If you guys haven't checked him out, please definitely go do so. He is doing amazing things, reading all those wonderful MOTU comics, getting them all voice acted by several people. Thank you for doing that for the rest of us. It's absolutely amazing. And Hillian Dread is also joined into the frenzy this evening. Man, it's so great seeing everybody here. And Sir Clifton is also in the house joining us tonight. Cool. Thank you for being here, Sir Clifton. Good to see you. We've got Captain Biscuits 71 also here for Sean's truffle. People aren't even showing up for the show anymore. They just want to see Sean do the truffle shuffle.
He's a star.
My wife pays me to stay away from her, so it's funny people keep showing up for that. Like, okay, I must be doing something right then.
Bane's Toy Samples, who also joined us over this weekend, said, "I see tonight is picking up where Saturday left off." You know it, brother.
Sorry to make him bust up laughing.
We just couldn't stop laughing on Saturday. It was great.
It was fun.
Danny Phillips is also joining us this morning for him, actually. Good to have you here, Danny. Thank you. And Rolando Flores joining us as well. Thank you for joining us tonight, Rolando. It's good to have you here, brother. Always happy to see you. Man, I just love it. The channel keeps growing every week. We have
it's awesome.
New faces coming in, returning faces. It is beautiful. And holy crap, I think I actually caught onto it. Sean has a bright future on OnlyFans.
There you
go. Also, we've got Ray Black saying she's going to be an asshole soon to be anyway. Thank you so much, Ray Black. Glad to have you here.
Cool.
And if you guys join, you can get Bobby to pet a kitten. You know,
I've had cats my whole life, all black. I'm no stranger to cats.
And thank you, figuratively speaking, telling everybody, go ahead and hit that like button. Let us know you're enjoying the content. We appreciate it. Leave comments too, guys. Always comment down below. Let us know what you're enjoying, what you're having fun with. Let us know anything. Like, we did that Ask Us Anything last time. Drop comments down. Ask questions all throughout. And you know what? We'll start bringing them up more on the channel as well.
Yeah, I do go look back at the episode to see if there were comments, and it's usually 0.
Yeah.
So I would like to see comments. It'd be neat.
Absolutely.
What you like about the show, what you don't like.
We're always looking for feedback, people. Definitely let us know.
Need more of me instead of the other two? No, I'm just kidding.
So,
you didn't even get that yet.
You got plans.
Yeah. Oh, my buddy's custom saying, this is why I make everything I type up so spicy. I'm testing out what works and doesn't. I don't lose subs. Skele does. You are all my test dummies.
Yeah, right. Slamming me against the wall every week.
All right. We got here with Alpha and Flick saying, hey there again. Yo, Bobby the Guar Toys.
That's right.
Absolutely, man. God, that would be such an awesome line, especially within Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man. And Hillian Dread saying his tongue lasher and mini comic Roboto got shipped out by Mattel Creations just now. That's great news. So, for anybody who may not been aware, when Dark Lynn went live on Tuesday, they also went, what was it, Wave 12? They put all of that up available
Did they really?
as well. Yeah.
I didn't even
Yeah.
go on there.
Oh, man,
didn't
it's
even
sold
notice.
out too.
Really? I'm not surprised at that.
Now, the funny part is, though, last time I checked, Dark Lynn was still available. So,
Really?
if anybody didn't get her, go on there now.
Those
Her up.
beefy legs.
All right. So, no, I don't know. We're not
No.
going that route. No.
My bald beaver. Jesus Christ.
No. You got him to say it, though, bud. You got him to say it because he definitely read it out loud.
Yeah.
There's certain limits that we actually have to watch just so we make sure that we're not getting dinged by YouTube from inappropriate.
When I read that, I was thinking of the Primus song.
Right? Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
It's a good one.
So Payne's Toy Sample's talking about 1900 soft goods. That's right. You know, it's the Taylor channel on the Discord server is for those that make tailored soft goods for your figures. I know a couple people out there have. I know Brick's done some. Masterversal Toy Hunter. Anybody who's making tailored soft goods for their figures, I want to see it because first off, I got questions. Period. I can't sew for anything, and I think that's great.
I think it's time to learn you something new, right?
Right, exactly. And my buddy's custom says, if this doesn't get us Patreons, I quit.
Don't say that too fast.
That's right. Yeah, we're still growing the community, though. And honestly, if we all saw Ray saying that she's working on it this week, she's going to be joining us as well. So, I mean, that's going to be great news.
But then again, you don't have to join.
You don't. You really do not have to join. You know, we're going to be here each and every week giving you guys all this content.
Yep.
That's just a bonus extra for everybody who's supporting us to come chat, directly with us, as well as joining in and showing off all your amazing photos of everything that you guys are doing. We love it. But, the truth is, we don't do this for that. It just helps. That's all. And you're welcome, Bobby. You're my favorite to torture.
Of course. What else am I here for?
Getting some support for Skele here.
Yep. Yeah, I hope everything goes well with his family.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And I know he's going to go back and he's going to be watching this tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going through here and making sure that Skele sees all the support from all the fans here at Toy Frenzy because we all love him. And,
he's a great guy.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, if it wasn't for Skele, we all wouldn't be sitting here doing this.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the truth of the matter. Toy Frenzy wouldn't exist without Skele. So thank you, brother. And we are so, sorry for your loss right now and hope that you can watch this tomorrow and join in and get a couple of laughs through this tough time.
Yes.
Now, mind you, before that shenanigans, Thanos here, he was suspecting Skele just wanted to bow out so that he could watch what happens.
Oh, no.
That's not it. That's not the case this week. He's actually, he's got that going on. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate your support.
Yes.
He really, really, he's going to need it right now. He's going through a tough time. So,
yep.
All right. And I'm going to try to catch back up with the chat here before we get into talking about topic tonight, which, we'll probably loosely talk about for like 5 minutes and then
then all the shit explodes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's especially going to explode when we've got Joe Amato in the house saying, hey, vintage He-Man guy.
Yeah, it's Joe MOTU. What's up, Joe?
Joe, good to have you with us tonight, brother. Thank you for being here. We always appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope everything's going well with you.
Yep. And Danny Phillips saying he was annoyed. He missed out on Duplico on Creations. I know that was like the best guaranteed way to get it. Look at it.
Yeah.
Joe jumps in the chat and he steals the show. Look, everybody's all just kidding, though. We all love it when you guys are here. Appreciate it. And Brick mentioning, because again, I know he makes soft goods. He's got to get back behind the sewing machine this weekend. And Brick, thank you for showing up tonight. We appreciate you being here, brother. Good to have you. And she said, nah, not sewing is in the jeans. I don't know. I mean, I've never tried before, to be honest. So
You never sewed your jeans before?
no, I was too busy tearing holes in them. You know, you get that little worn down spot, and then you just kind of start working at it.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Oh, tailored." In my head, I was saying, "Who's Taylor?" Sorry, I was guessing. Right? Yeah, it's a little bit different when you don't have the word spelled up there. And got some soft good capes need to make. I'll share your hey, that would be fantastic, definitely. And Payne's Toy Sample saying he just orders soft goods. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a lot easier having somebody else do it. Well, and some of the guys are talking about Savage Crucible. We're going to be getting into stuff like that in a future episode very soon. We're going to start going through some indie toy companies and the great projects that they're doing. We want to get into that just a little bit more because they got some really great stuff going on there.
Yeah, that was the plan for this week, wasn't it? And we changed it.
Well, we were we've thrown up the idea between either talking about more independent toy companies and then talking about some of these leaks. And the truth is, there's so much to go over with all the great indie toy companies out there right now that everybody's doing really amazing stuff. A lot of great projects going on, and so it's going to take some time to really go through a lot of that. Now, of course, mind you, that was before they dropped even more leaks about MOTU. We thought we were just going to go ahead and try to rush up, get caught up on some leaked information.
Yeah. I just had to look it up before the show because I've been out of the loop. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, like they've been like new stuff's been coming out. Like right now, Mattel is like they've got diarrhea of the product or something going on because every day I turn around, there's more stuff coming out. And you know, it's getting a little crazy. All right.
So having too much Taco Bell.
Right? Absolutely.
Yo quiero master of the universe.
We got Carlos Caceres, and forgive me if I mispronounced the name, but he was asking, was this the first time Mattel offered a full wave before any retailer? I got to agree. I really
so.
think this because I've never seen a full wave up there until after we've already seen it in stores somewhere. And, you know, I mean, I could be wrong on the timing because I don't watch Mattel Creations religiously for stuff, but it's definitely, you know, been a little bit more. This was definitely the first time it hit, like long before we saw it on shelves.
Yeah, definitely.
And J-Mac mentioning that he enjoyed the video Brick with you and articulated about Savage and AWOC, talking about more of those independent toy guys. So yeah, absolutely. If you guys haven't seen that, check out Highly Articulated and Brick Something. They've both been going live for a couple of weeks now, talking about the different indie brands coming up. And that's really, really awesome stuff. So everybody's going crazy about the indie toys. See, this is why we need to start talking about it, guys.
Yeah,
Look, everybody's going nuts.
I'll have to look into that stuff more.
It's going to only get worse in November because you're going to be at Legion's Con and you're going to get to see it for yourself. And you're going to come back and just go crazy every episode talking about what you got to see.
Well, I'm still trying to like head up the PowerCon too, which is another big presence for a lot of, you know, indie guys and stuff like that, where, you know, maybe they're not in Comic-Con, but they're at PowerCon and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to get to that as well. I think I'm really excited for that, but I got to plan things out. I got to work a ton of overtime, get money involved. I got some other stuff coming up I need to take care of, but Legion's Con is definitely happening. I already said it today in the Cabal. Next Legion's Con, 100% more Oz. All these MOTU leaks and products coming out, this makes me think it's a shot at a certain personality who was dooming the line. Guess Scotty doesn't know. Ooh, nice tie-in with the song right there. I like that.
Love that song.
In the wink wink. I agree. Yeah.
Well, he said it, but then he said it was at retail though. So retail is starting to show that it's not looking too good at retail.
I agree. Like I've definitely seen, well, I've been to the Walmart closest to me. they've cleared out the MOTU section.
Yeah, me too.
However, the news that was dropping, was it yesterday or today? And now again, I've pulled up Toy Habits here because they've been on top of all of this stuff. So if I go look at that, was it wave? It's wave 14. That's the latest one that they had the news from. So let me back that up. What it seemed to be that they were saying, and again, this is straight from Toy Habits. Again, they've got a lot of good resources there. And I've said before where they do tend to, they get a lot of rumors, but you know what? They get a lot of rumors right too. And a lot of these times they're pulling the listings straight from the sources like Walmart and Amazon. So it's not really so much a rumor at that point. It's kind of like, no, this is definitely coming. And that's what they were that's what they were talking about here. And I'm just going through here. I believe they said this latest wave 14 is going to be a Walmart exclusive. So anyway, this is supposed to be coming out. This wave 14
Walmart
is supposed
exclusive.
to, right? And they're the ones that are getting rid of the MOTU section in store. Like I said, I know for a fact, I went into my local Walmart and the guy who was working the toy department, I noticed they didn't have a single peg with a single shelf sticker that said Masters of the Universe anything anymore.
Yeah, it was just
and I asked him, I was like, do you guys have any Masters of the Universe stuff? And he said, it does not look like we're carrying this anymore. We're not going to carry it. And I was like, okay. Because he pulled out his little Palm Pilot computer thing they all carry now. But in any case, so the expected date for Wave 14 is looking like October of 2023. But you know what? I can't hold any of that because every time Mattel's been announcing a date for a wave, it's been like 3 months before that is when it actually comes out.
Yeah.
So I'm taking a look here. I could have sworn I heard somebody mention it was supposed to be Walmart, but maybe not because I'm looking for that wording here and I don't see it. So maybe I'm putting that in there. Maybe I'm just hoping maybe it's not done at Walmart yet. Not that.
Maybe it was just a Walmart listing that they saw.
Okay, yeah. 4 figures stood on the Walmart website, and we also had the links to them below.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely
it might not be an exclusive. Yeah.
But it's still going ahead and possibly going to be available at Walmart. Maybe it won't be available in store, but it could be available online through Walmart. You know, that's the one thing. Just because it dies retail in store does not mean it's dead at these retailers. It's just not going to secure the shelf space. Because, I mean, let's face it, we all looked at a year of Wave 7 sitting on shelves and not being bought. Meanwhile, online sales, because that's where everybody can find the product, it's selling in droves because, well, we can get what we're looking for online without having to hit 20 different stores seeing mini comic Stratos and Buzz Off on the shelf, which are 2 fun figures, but I've already got them, so I don't need more.
Exactly.
All right, so let's go here. And for some reason, I'm clicking comments and I'm not able to bring them up. What's going on here? Okay, here we go. It's just being a little slow. I guess my connection's pretty bad.
Yeah, you're
Brick something was saying, man, he wishes he could make either power comic. Can't swim. Am I like cutting out or muting?
It's a little glitchy, a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? And just now too, like, oh, I'm frozen now. Great.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, now I can see you moving.
Now.
Yeah,
I'm good now. Okay, great. You know, Skele puts me in charge or whatever like that. Now we.
It's always that one spot you guys are in. It's always the same spot that glitches.
Yep. All right. So again, just trying to go through here and hit the comments. Everybody's still blowing up in the chat. It's so hard saying if they're available online, you'll jump on them. It's just easier to get stuff available online.
Well, I think that's where most of the MOTU is being sold is online anyway. You know, all the collectors.
That's right. I mean,
we're buying it through that.
Exactly. there's and again, this is something that Scott did mention when he went live with Mega J that I kind of agree with. There's not enough extra media support right now to really sell it to the younger generation, and they're the
Right.
ones that are going to be seeing it in store that should buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from us that know about it and go looking for it, there's not a lot of people who are like, well, what's that? The younger
Yeah.
generations, what's He-Man? They don't know. We
Right.
know, we bring their attention to it and they think it's awesome. Like that's why Connor's so into it, because he's got a dad who's a huge fanatic about it.
Mhm.
But, without that extra support to the younger generation, without that extra commercialization, it needs a little help. If Masters Universe had a huge video game, I bet you it'd be selling like crazy right now. Like if
Yeah.
if they were to do a partnership with Fortnite, you know how Fortnite gets all that licensing to have strange stuff.
Mhm.
Do you guys even know Fortnite? I don't know. Connor tells me
Yeah.
about it all
Yeah.
the time.
I know. Yeah.
So if they were to get a partnership with that, where you were to get like a He-Man skin in Fortnite, kids would go crazy over it, I'm sure.
Well,
Um,
just any video game since the 80s for He-Man that we could play, because they did do the one for 2000X, but that was only available
yeah,
in Europe. So any
yeah,
video game that isn't Tappers would be welcome for any MOTU fan, I'm positive at this point.
Yep.
Like,
absolutely.
imagine if they did like an Arkham Asylum or, like a Skyrim video game with, that's Eternia now, and you're He-Man going on these missions. I mean, that would be nuts. Like, I would
You
I
don't
would never
even
come
have
up
to
for
be
air.
He-Man. You
Exactly.
wouldn't even have to be He-Man.
How
If you
about like
did open world, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, how about something like Skylanders? We can actually buy the figures and change them out and use them.
Sure.
That'd be cool.
It would
Yeah.
sell. It would
Yeah.
definitely
Mhm.
sell. I mean, when Skylanders first came out, I went nuts because I was like, "Oh, dude, toys crossing with video games, like, and it serves a purpose."
Yeah.
And then it just
Mhm.
got way too much, way too fast. I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, never
Mhm.
mind." Collected everything for the first whole game. Loved playing that game. Didn't touch another one. And then they did Disney Infinity, and I'm a Disney
Yep.
fan, so I got a bunch of that stuff too.
Same
I've still
here.
got my collector's Jack Skellington figure that came out for that. Awesome figure.
I got a couple of
So
those here and there. So.
yeah, I picked and choose on that one. I didn't go crazy and get all of it.
Mhm.
So Sir Clifton's saying the thing everyone needs to understand, it's not that MOTU is literally ending, because that's true. It's not. It's
Right.
happening when you walk in a store and it's all going online. And I got to agree. I think that's just kind of like they're going to switch to a more online business model with the line. And honestly, I think that's the right move.
It
Mhm.
wouldn't matter to me because I always bought them online anyway, so it's not changing for me.
My point exactly. The only thing that it's doing is making somebody like me who actually goes and enjoys doing the hunt, it saves me a ton of money as far as not having to go cruise around. Me and my buddy Chris, we get together once a weekend. We go cruise around to a bunch of different Walmarts, and then we just come home empty handed and disappointed.
Mhm.
Whereas all of that money spent doing all of that could have just went online, paid for the extra shipping. Wouldn't have been a big
Mhm.
deal.
That's right.
Well,
So
that's like the model now. That's the thing. Like, I mean, it's too it's too convenient now to go on Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Mattel Creations, whatever, and do this. And a lot of business models are centered around that nowadays.
they
Just
are.
go with it. Like for
Yeah,
people like us, the adult collector, it's customized for us to just go online for everything we want nowadays. So
exactly. It's
I think that.
convenient as heck. You know you're going to get it. May not
Mhm.
be exactly when you want it. Because that's the only thing that going out to the store and finding it gives you that immediate satisfaction. You went to the
Yeah,
store, you paid for it, you have it in hand.
sure.
And that's a great feeling. It definitely is. But it's also, like I said, you spend 3, 4 hours a day. You spend your Saturday cruising around to 6 different stores and you don't find anything new. Really sucks. And you
Hmm.
Mhm.
still spent time and money invested in it when I could just go online, spend 5 minutes, add everything to cart, check out. Okay, I'm done toy hunting for the day. Now I got the
Mhm.
rest of my day to do whatever that is, which is
Yeah.
probably fiddle around, do stuff for the show.
Yeah.
Like, I could have afforded the time to do the research about this before we went live tonight. I haven't had time to keep up on anything. I've been busy as hell.
Yeah, me too.
Brick something here making his next comment. Palm Pilot computer thing they all have now. How old are you? I thought I was the old man. Hey man, hey, look, okay, a little antiquated on certain technologies, maybe. Not really. Like, I try to keep up with it, but that's as soon as I saw it, that's what it reminded me of. And then I realized it was just a smartphone. But again, Sir Clifton mentioning that his toy department manager, the store manager, and district manager all said the same thing, or at the same time. They're just done carrying it in store. And I could totally see them dropping it out of stores and selling it online. Because if you know what, as a business owner, if you notice something like that, right? If I notice that a bunch of this product in my store is not selling in store, but it's selling in droves online, why even carry it in the store? Put something else in there. Expand, your square footage for whatever is selling in store. Expand that. Carry more product for that. If this product isn't selling in store, get it out of there. But if it's selling online, well, then you just don't have to worry about distributing it to your stores. You keep it back at the warehouse and you ship direct.
Yeah.
Much easier. And let's see here. Over on Eldor's Live, I asked Ramen Toy if they would consider doing an Origins companion line with beasts, steeds, armor, and weapons. And he said, we have ideas. Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I really love the work that, Ace and everybody's doing over at Ramen Toy. They're bringing back lines that nobody else is talking about right now. And that to me is really important. I just wish they could get their hands on some of that hologram technology. You remember from Visionaries and like
Yeah,
Supernatural?
Mhm.
I would love it if they were to bring back those because, man, I miss them. They were great. But that stuff's still really expensive now.
Yeah, it is.
All the UK big stores stopped MOTU. See, I mean, we're seeing the evidence everywhere.
Yep.
Now, okay, my Walmart re-added their MOTU to the shelf. Same stuff, though. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry, that. Yes, they brought MOTU back. Oh, crap. It's the same naked Stratos again.
Had they just moved it around, make it look fresh.
They moved it to an end cap, brought it back.
Yep.
Nipple tassel. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's getting a little crazy tonight, guys. All right, so people bring
Is that starting already?
That would be awesome. Hey, you know what? It's after 10, so I mean we can start
fuck
going.
it, let's just go for it. Oh shit!
Right, go all out.
There we go.
Forget about it.
Yeah,
I was trying to keep us on topic a little bit tonight.
Forget about it.
I thought to myself, I said self, and I knew it was me because I was wearing my underwear and it sounded like my voice. I said, what would Skele
your underwear
do?
sounded like your voice?
You know it, man. It talks.
You talk shit.
Always talking shit.
That's all underwear can do.
Right.
Right?
Is that where we're going tonight with that?
Hey, you know what? We
underwear?
might as well just flush it right down the toilet. Talk underwear and shit all night long. Why not?
Talk about your dirty shorts.
Captain Biscuits. Eat my shorts. Okay, I can't do a Bartman impression. So apparently, Captain Biscuit's saying he heard Mattel cut a bunch of jobs and Toys R Us bankrupt. Is this due to overproduction like you guys talked about? It's not so much overproduction. It's looking at projected sales and growth and where things were going versus where they ended up. They kind of, I would say, hit a bit of a wall. Because you got a lot of people out there like me who are hunting in stores looking for this stuff, and they're coming across the same waves. So they're not selling, but they're still stocking those waves. And you can see when exactly that hit with what wave got stuck in retail and didn't move because everybody went out and got it. And then it just sat there. They were like, we need more of this production. So, I mean, it could be due to looking at, okay, we're selling a lot, we're selling everything, we need to make more, and that's your overproduction, because maybe it gave them an inflated sense of the demand and it was just too much. But then you got people who'd be complaining if there wasn't anything on the shelf either, because I know that's what I was complaining about the year prior. I couldn't find anything on the shelf, and now it's just there's everything sitting on the shelf, but it's the same stuff I've been looking at for a solid year. So Nolan agrees that if they want to bring the young ones in, they need him. And absolutely, I really
TV
think
show, The Young Ones.
Well, the young ones.
Yeah.
That sounds like that comes on. What's that? Skinamax. The young ones.
It was a good show.
Wait a minute here. Went and talked about the young ones, and now he's talking about the bottom. Bobby's getting a little hot under the collar over there.
Yeah.
He's gonna need some sprinkler action, Shawn. Huh? Get him.
Oh no!
You gotta do the sound effect.
I can't even do it right. I'm all off my game at the moment. There we go.
There it is. There it is. He's got it coming in
It
now.
took me a minute.
It looks more like Herman Munster trying to do the belly rub and the tip, but you can't get it right.
Straight. I'm rubbing my head.
If I start the one, I can do the other. There we go.
Darn.
Right. Oh man, we're really dating ourselves, aren't we? Hey, look, everybody in
the
this
monsters
chat
are
is
I had to
just
date
about
myself for years, and I enjoy myself. So
I'm an easy date, let me tell you.
I'm so cheap.
I'm so cheap. Dollar
go to
Tree
the-
calls me. Like, how do you get that cheap? Well, I date myself. Yeah.
Desperation.
Smash, smash.
Desperation.
Desperation. Women can smell it.
quick
Dogs and
dinner at
cats.
McDonald's, get a hold of me.
what was that line about? Dogs and bees can smell fear. It's like, yeah, that's how it works.
You drink one beer and say, "Whoa, that's enough." I don't know if I can trust myself.
you just got through half
I
of
gotta
that.
drive
Oh,
home tonight.
both hands on the
Getting a
table
little too wild
right now.
tonight. Put the keys
Eyes
in
up
the
here.
cup.
You got to stare at yourself at least sometimes,
Right.
you know.
Always.
Looking in the
Always.
mirror. My eyes
Stare
are
at
up here.
myself
Oh
longing.
God. And then
What
there's
have
the
I done?
Yeah, right.
oh, geez.
So my buddy's Customs is bringing up the fact that the game Fall Guys, which I don't know if you guys are familiar
how
with
he
this at all.
Yeah. The
I'm
Fall
just going to
Guys.
get back
Yeah.
into the topic here, and then we'll derail it
Yeah,
a little bit later.
no.
Yeah, we'll
I
derail in
Fall
another
Guys.
minute or two.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about, the Fall Guys. Yeah.
Don't worry. Yeah. It's Ponzi schemes. We've all been there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the Fall Guys, it's this little obstacle course kind of game. Everybody competes, and then there's only a couple winners by the very end. They've got MOTU skins for them, which is actually pretty cool, pretty neat. I've watched it played a couple times. I haven't tried to play it myself, but it's really interesting. And
Lee
you can still
Majors
buy
isn't
them.
in and I'm out.
Yeah, right. Fall Guy got into his truck.
So, look at this here. Go for it.
No, it's already lost, so don't worry about it.
The
moment's gone.
I'm sorry I spoiled the moment, Bobby. Please don't leave me.
Not if your underwear keeps talking.
So, well, you never know.
It's like in the background.
Sitting in the corner in a pile of.
I didn't actually plan for that, but we have a fourth co-host tonight. My underwear.
Feed me, Simo. Feed me.
Oh God.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we've
the
completely
decline
lost
has
track.
begun.
It fits with that vibrator in the corner as well. From remember, Jason? Or,
I don't know. Like hearing about the video game ideas, what is your guys' take on what kind of a game would you want to see them do if they actually did one where like people, the adult collectors would be excited to play it because you're finally getting a Masters of the Universe game. Would you want it to be like Street Fighter kind of vibe, or would you want it to be like Skyrim, or would you want it to be something even different than that?
I mean, you could go a couple of different ways about it.
yeah,
I mean, that's the fun thing with such a diverse franchise as this.
Yeah,
Thanos Copter here is talking about a Marvel versus Capcom, which is a Street Fighter style game.
yeah,
And we've already seen, because there is a fan made, what's it called? Mojin game, or Mojin, I believe is what the name of it is. Somebody can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. Mujin. I think that's how it's pronounced. But it's a game where they take those 2D, Capcom style graphics, and they put characters from all different franchises in this game. And you have like death battles and stuff like that. Like, they've done Goku versus Superman, which is always a popular online heated debate.
yeah.
Um, and I've seen they have He-Man, they have Skeletor in that game. They've put sprites in, they've given them a move list, and it's fun. It's neat to see. And you could do mashups like Beastman versus Man at Arms, or, He-Man versus Hordak, stuff like that. Fights that you wanted to see in a way that you want to see them that maybe necessarily wasn't expressed in the cartoon. And that would be really
Yeah.
cool. Me personally, I love open world environment and exploring games. I've fallen in love with them, have for years. So I would absolutely love a Masters of the Universe game where, you had that open world Skyrim experience.
well, you could do that too, like the Mortal Kombat did that, where they had the fighting, and then they had that other open world game that you were playing too. In that, I forgot what was that, Mortal Kombat 5, 6, something like that. You were able to do that.
Well, I know they definitely did. They've done a couple of different versions. Like they had the
Yeah.
Sub-Zero, where it was like this,
Well,
cinematic
no, yeah,
story
right,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
levels.
They had those, right? But
And then
in
they,
Mortal Kombat itself, you were able to
yeah,
like do a side thing, and it was like open world. It was
I'm
really
trying to
cool.
remember if that was like with Armageddon
It
or,
was around that time, yes.
yeah, like in the Deception Armageddon
Yeah, yep.
ages, where the story got really crazy and off the rails
Yeah,
with
it
those.
did. Yeah, I love Mortal Kombat, so yeah, it's good
We'll have
stuff.
to do a show where we just talk about Mortal Kombat, because I'm a
That'd
big
be
fan.
great. Yeah,
That was one of my favorite fighting
I'm
franchises.
still waiting for Sesame Street Fighter.
Right? Why not? Actually, it was a really fun game that I missed that nobody talks about anymore? Clay Fighter.
Oh, I
You guys remember that?
Yeah, no.
It was like for Super Nintendo and stuff, where they took like claymation style looking character sprites and they had them fight.
Yeah,
Mm.
It was fun as hell.
yeah, I remember that.
And right here, Thanos was echoing me with, he goes on toy hunts and all he comes back with is disappointment.
It's true.
All right. So keep it real. You'd be doing live streams of online ordering. Ha. The hunt will be your tube vid. I agree. Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be nearly as fun.
YouTubeized.
Right? And shelf velocity is a big factor for retailers. Now, we've got on Rio 83 saying, a former Walmart employee, the device is a TC70. When I left, moving over to store supplied phone, or employees use their own. See, when I worked for Walmart, this wasn't a thing. All you had was those little telecom scanner device guns. You had those, and you didn't have one for every employee. You only had a few on.
When I worked, we only used phones in the back.
Right?
Yeah.
And Brick something saying, the young ones, nature grows the seeds, we eat the seeds.
Oh man.
And again, Brick saying, who are the old ones here?
Yeah, right.
And British TV shows the weird names, but then again, so do Canadians. I agree. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only kind of weird. I've watched several shows which were interesting. The episodes
Kids in the
with
Hall are
Lemmy were epic. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Lemmy.
Kids in the Hall is fantastic.
Kids in the Hall. Love that show.
All right. still trying to scroll through here. Yeah, and there's a comment about Lee Mayweather I missed earlier. I was trying to with it. And finally been
I can't
joined
get
by
comfortable
Radical
tonight.
Toys. He is in the house. Oh man, go get yourself an extra pillow, old man.
I don't know. Yeah, old man, my ass. You're the one that's listening to your underwear talk in the corner.
That's only because I'm crazy.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. What? That's when you start answering it.
See, and here we go. We start to go off the rails, and John's trying to bring us back in, saying he sees a hand whipping in our future, boys. It's gonna happen.
Maybe that's why I'm having an uncomfortable seat. Like,
Your
got
butt's
Skele in the
already
back of my
sitting there
mind.
imagining.
Yeah.
That's
No,
right.
I'm not imagining
ready
my
to
ass getting
unleash.
kicked. Yeah.
And we've also got Master Versal Toy Hunter in the house. Eldor has joined us as well. Just finished the second episode of Masters of the MOTU News with Adam there, and he's just popping in now. Absolutely. I definitely last week was catching you guys. Had to jump on a little early myself this week and didn't get to watch as much, but always glad to see you guys are doing it. And as soon as I hop off here, I'm probably going to go back and watch the replay of that. But they've had plenty of new news to talk about because, again, the leaks are getting intense. So just again, trying to keep up with the chat here. Here we go. Clay Fighter. Yes. SNES. That game was awesome. Absolutely. And if they did a Capcom or Mortal Kombat game with MOTU characters, we might get MOTU Storm collectibles. Please, universe. I can get in with that.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the Storm collectibles?
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat figures? Those things are gorgeous. Emerald Knight, he's got several of them, and they are fantastic. And we've got the Weekend Gamer joining in saying he wants a Streets of Rage Final Fight style beat 'em up game. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. Marching through, tons of horde troopers and different, the different Skeletor minions and stuff like that. And then each one of like the big evil warriors is like an end boss or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. I'd be down for something like that. Plus, those old style beat 'em up games like River City Ransom, those were great. How many people remember that game?
I don't remember that one, but no, Final Fight. I always grabbed that one when I was at the arcade.
Final Fight was a good one. Yeah, River City Ransom was a little less popular known, but it was definitely one of the best in that line. It was really cool. And people are still finding hidden secrets about it today, which is the neat part, or easier ways to do things.
Nice.
More Clay Fighter was the dookie, meaning it was the shit. And here we go. We're getting schooled. Mortal Kombat 6 or 7. And so yeah, exactly. There we go. We're catching up. Still waiting for McFarlane to make a Melina figure. She's never been made that I know of beside a statue. I thought they had released a Melina figure, but I could be wrong.
I don't know.
And apparently we're getting heads crushed here because we were doing.
I squeeze your face.
So, Bobby, have you watched the newer Kids in the Hall episodes that came out?
Of course. It's fantastic. It's good stuff. I mean, they're funny. The new stuff, the new season they came out last year, that was funny.
Just the fact that they brought it out was exciting because it was like, I didn't think that would happen. And boom, they brought it right back.
Yeah, I can't believe how funny it was. I mean, it was really good.
Gauntlet's been thrown down. Radical Toys challenges you in Mortal Kombat 11. I'd take that challenge if I still had my Xbox.
Yep. We used to have, when I worked at the movie theater, and I was a manager there, and we had Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and we used to have tournaments because I had the key. It was on the arcade, and I had a key for it, so we were able to play for free all night long. We just had all of us. It was great. It was a lot of fun. Mortal Kombat.
I used to love kicking the crap out of people in Mortal Kombat. Like I was that kid that would be at the front of the line with the, just put my quarter in and keep coming, people. Bring it on. Keep coming. And eventually I'd get dethroned, but.
Yeah, we had that in Street Fighter 2. So we were playing that all night for all free. It was great.
That was a fantastic time for the arcade machines too, because the graphics were still better than what you had at the home console.
Yeah.
And plus, back then too, with the blood and everything like that, like you got that at the arcade, but you didn't get it on the home console version without the code. And that was only on the Genesis version. So let's see here. We missed the Army Men games and Twisted Metal game for PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1 had a lot of good games on it,
Yeah,
a
they
lot of
did.
different genres.
Yeah. The Soul
Oh.
Reaver and Blood Omen, that was some good stuff.
Brick remembers River City Ransom. Thank you, Brick. Oh. And the Weekend Gamer also remembers River City Ransom, another NES classic. Absolutely. Thank you. That game was great, guys. You should check it out. Thanos Copter saying the new Streets of Rage was a lot of fun. I have not checked that out yet. I definitely need to. Double Dragon, that was another classic. Really good.
Yeah.
And Narc was Radical Toys' favorite arcade game, and love how it appeared in the Turtles film. I agree. Yeah. That was always fun. Dude, I love, like, you go back and you watch those movies and, like, you're seeing the kids do that stuff. It just feels so good. And then you kind of want to, roll back.
I feel old because I love Pac-Man. So
dude, there's nothing wrong with loving Pac-Man.
I know.
Not at all.
Pac-Man's awesome.
So we got another comment here from Onryu83 saying Battle Cat a la the Batmobile, like Arkham Knight. How cool would that be?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you could get like upgrades, because you know how like in the Arkham games, like Batman upgrades his stuff throughout the game. You could upgrade Battle Cat's armor, so like you can go classic or you can go 2000X style kind of thing, and just do different things like that. You get the CGI with the glowing claws if that's your thing. It'd be fun to do. I think that'd be really neat. The new Kids in the Hall episodes were great. I was worried at first because most shows that come back aren't the same and can be crappy, but this literally the same and amazing.
Yes.
That's what made it so perfect, because it was just like they never left. Like
I know.
Like they just took a break and then they came back. That's exactly how it felt.
And some of their funniest skits are like one of the most simple things too. It's oh man, I love those guys.
GTA style open world with mini Street Fighter missions. And I'm not familiar with this acronym, AOTA. Can anybody school me? I've been out of the video game world since basically leaving GameStop. I haven't been on top of it like I used to be.
I think the last video game I played was God of War 2.
God of War 2? That was a good one too, man.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed when 3 came out. Like I beat that game in like one night.
Yeah.
I was like at a 97% completion in one night. I was like,
wow. I did that with Resident Evil 2. I think I played that all in one night once.
Oh, so good. Did you check out the remake?
No.
What was it? Force Unleashed, when they did the second one of that one. I beat that literally in like 24 hours. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like the first game took me like weeks.
Yeah.
And the second one, I'm like, this is wrong. And that was the end of that.
Yeah. So mad about that. Again, that first one seemed like it took forever to get through. It had a long, really drawn out story with a lot of options and stuff like that, how you could do it. And the second one was just like, all right, so yeah, we're just going to speed you through this. It's like, guys, you could have just added this as another DLC to the first one.
Absolutely, yeah.
We did not need this whole second game price tag.
Nope.
So we're getting a shout out from Thanos Copter here, talking about Love and Soul Reaver and the Legacy of Kain franchise. It's one that I have waited patiently for them to bring back.
I have all originals still. I still have them. Oh, that's a great franchise. Even the first Legacy of Kain or Blood Omen, all that stuff. Yeah, good stuff.
And Siphon Filter, that was a fantastic spy game.
Yeah,
a little more
seeing that.
Yeah, it was a little more spy and a little less Metal Gear. Yeah. So, but Metal Gear is still great, though. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Metal Gear.
How do we get on video games?
You know what? Who cares? Let's just roll with it. We'll keep rolling with
it. They were talking about the style of, Capcom versus Marvel. And then I asked the question about what version would you guys want, and then we just like rabbit hole right down here.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So, and I'm way, way, way above my pay grade on this one because I don't remember half of these anymore. I must be really freaking old.
So Payne was asking here about who would love Legacy of Kain figures with modern spin. We did have some Legacy of Kain figures way
Yes.
back around the time Soul Reaver was after Soul Reaver 2, actually, I think.
Yeah, they're real good figures. I had Legacy, I had Kane, and I had Soul Reaver Raziel.
Yeah, I had the
And-
Raziel figure.
And I sold them a couple years ago.
Mm.
And but
I
they're
bet those were
they're-
worth a pretty
they're-
good amount.
yeah, they were not too bad. I think I sold them for like $75 a piece or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're fantastic. They came in
Yep.
a little. They had a stand with it too. All kinds
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah, they were real good.
Nolan said, "Pay not to buy them." Yeah, well, they're out there. You can buy them, but they're pricey.
Yeah.
The one I didn't like was Crash Bandicoot, and I could never keep that bugger alive. He's just always spinning off everything.
As Crash Bandicoot was fun.
Yeah, it was a good platformer. It was a lot of fun. You know, it was like one of those first kind of like real 3D platformers after playing like through the ages of Mario and everything, and leading up to PlayStation in this new format. It was around right before N64 came out, which was a lot of people getting into that and getting that 3D experience with Mario. So it was definitely a little hard to get used to at first, but it was still really good.
Yep.
So Weekend Gamers saying that he loved the theme song for the OG Kids in the Hall.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's from the
Love
Shadow Man, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And Radical Toy says he's currently playing Horizon Forbidden West. So good. Lots to do. Great storyline. I always like seeing that.
I don't have patience for games anymore. That's why I haven't played them in such a long time.
Like the games I play now, all it is patience, because I'm just kind of like strolling through doing whatever I do. Because I'll still play Minecraft on occasion. I do enjoy that. I've done some pretty epic builds. And Skyrim, it's another fantastic game that I never get enough of. Really enjoy playing that still. So, and Carol mentioning she used to watch me play Legacy of Kain, awesome game. You also used to watch me and Jason play like Medal of Honor and the old Medal of Honors, like PlayStation 2 era Medal of Honors, not so much the later ones. And then oh god, wasn't it Blood Rain? Blood Rain, another really fun game too.
I was really into the first couple Tomb Raiders. I really loved those.
Yep.
Those were a lot of fun. That adventure.
The later ones that came back where they were kind of relaunching the franchise.
Yeah,
I really dug those. Those were good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one I do have.
Yeah. Everybody loves Laura, you know. Resident Evil series is the best Capcom survival horror games. I agree. Resident Evil was really good, but I still think probably one of the scariest games that I ever played when it comes to horror. I mean, the original Resident Evil games were really good, but I think part of the reason that they were so terrifying was because the controls were all janky.
Yeah.
So
you don't know what's behind the door when you open it, and then all of a sudden the zombie's right in your face. I had my headset on, and I was playing Resident Evil 2, and you walk into the room, and you had that double mirror room, you know.
Oh,
you go and you grab that health spray, and all of a sudden that fucking thing comes flying out and scared the shit out of me. I threw my controller. It was like in the middle of the night. I was so scared.
Yep.
Oh man, not even because it's not in there when you're in the, and then you go around, and then you pop it. Oh Jesus.
Yeah, man.
It scared the shit out of me. But
did anybody ever play, and I want to say Fatal Frame, but I don't think that was the name of it because it was on the PlayStation 2. It was the game where you're going around and you would get like, all of a sudden you'd start getting attacked by something, but you couldn't see what it was. And then as you'd hold a camera up, then you'd see like a ghost like right in your face. And it was like very Japanese horror-esque, like, very similar to The Ring or The Grudge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Oh man, I loved that game. If anybody can remember, put it in the chat what the name of that game franchise was. It was on PlayStation 2. And Fatal Frame, I believe, was the name of like the successor, which was on the 3DS from Nintendo. And it came with like this little booklet too. And you had to use the AR with the booklet and use the camera on the 3DS to do everything. It was neat. It just wasn't the same as that original. And Thanos Copter saying he took a picture of his old Raziel toy recently.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yep. Playing the SOCOM games. I agree. And look, here we go. Skelly, no worries. No worries. My buddy's Customs trying to bring us back to topic here with talking
Yeah,
about some of
right.
those 2023 MOTU releases.
Yeah, let's get down to that.
So I know, Bobby, you had mentioned a bit.
He's getting bored with this video game talk.
All
Let's
this
get
video
back
game
to it.
talk. He's a gamer. He knows.
Yeah.
I'm trying to scroll through here and see if we're getting any more talk about the topic in here. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Ken's in the house. Toy Connections has joined us. What's going on, Ken? Thank you for being here, brother. And now everybody jumping on saying hello to Ken. And Ken, do you got anything to say about these upcoming? You know, I'm just going to go straight into almost like an Ostradamus Toys Live with this here. Ken, if you got time and you want to jump on and talk about the MOTU release, you know, or just completely go off the rails with me, Bobby, and Shawn, feel free. We'll throw you an invite in. And God, everybody's going on about video games now. What have we started here?
It's a snooze fest.
Right. We got crack the eggs. All right. And talking about Parasite Eve, because that was another fun game as well. Absolutely good. All right. So again, trying to get back on track. Talk about the news here.
Half hour later.
I'm talking about a half hour later. We've been live for an hour.
I know.
We barely scratched the surface here. So again, I'm pulling up the information straight from Toy Habits here, because they've been doing a great job catching the news, talking about it, releasing it to everybody here. And just want to go ahead and I guess I can present screen here. And here it comes.
And there it goes.
Trying to.
It's technology.
Right? It's just taking me a while because everything's running a bit slow. So, did you guys see us? Like what they've been looking at and, you know, all the announcements that are coming?
Yeah, I looked at this right before.
So it really does. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, it really, really does look like, of course, this was announced. It was announced first, and then Jay from Geek Dad Life, you know, fortunately, he came on and kind of confirmed that he saw this at the toy fair he was at in Germany.
Yeah.
As well as several things he confirmed too. So, getting on Fighter. Uh-oh. Am I still here, guy?
Yeah, you're glitching a little bit.
Okay. All right. Hang on here. Trying to fix connection issues. Oh, man.
That's what happens when you're live. Video games, what's your thoughts?
Come on, Baltimore Internet. You can do it. I believe in you. What was that in Peter Pan about? If you believe in fairies, clap your hands or whatever. Yeah. Everybody in the chat, clap your hands for us.
Keep the morale up.
Am I back? Am I on live?
You're back.
I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know if I'm back. He keeps like jumping in and out. Now it looks like it's all frozen on my end again.
No, you're going okay now. Maybe get the website off.
Am I? Are you sure? Because again, on my end, it's all frozen and janky.
No, you're going all right.
Yeah,
now,
I think that's probably putting too much strain on my connection at the moment.
Yeah. It's okay. We could talk about it. Everybody knows what it looks like anyway. I'm assuming. So, folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the upside.
Not quite a frenzy, more like just slow mo.
Yeah. Is Oz just sitting there? Or is he frozen? I think
I
he's
think
frozen.
he's well. There he is. He's smiling now.
Oh, now he's okay. Yeah.
Am I back? You see me? Am
You're
I
You're
back.
moving
back.
okay?
Yep. There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay. Yeah, it was the share screen. It was putting too much strain
Strain.
on my hardware. So
You don't
gotta
want to strain
start
on your hardware.
upgrading the hardware here.
Don't
No,
don't
no.
strain the
Don't want
hardware.
to strain on the hardware. Never strain the hardware, folks. Never. But yeah, so I'm not going to be able to share screen with everybody, unfortunately. So out of all of these leaks that have been coming down the line,
Yeah.
what are you most excited about seeing, like actually seeing in Origins?
Go ahead, Sean.
Uh,
I don't.
the one that we talked about yesterday on the podcast that really surprised me was actually the 2000X King Randor. I know that one for me was like, okay, I'm always a classics guy with everything I talk about, and then when they put that out, I go, well, now you're getting into stuff classics didn't even get to, and that's making me actually really feel like I'm missing out now because this is happening for Origins, and I'm curious how far that's going to keep going because it's no longer the black sheep.
Right.
Like there was always that scapegoat vibe of, oh, 2000X, we don't talk about that and all that. Now they're actually like creating a buck for Randor, and it's like that's crazy. Out of all the figures, you're like going almost like completely full tolling on that one figure from the
Right.
look.
Yeah. If you look at that figure, it like doesn't share the usual similarities like with an older figure and a slight
Hmm.
difference. With
Yeah.
Snake Tila, I mean, we've pretty much already got a 2000X style Tila with the Zord 2-pack, the long ponytail look, you know,
Hmm.
but they've even changed the tooling up for that because they've added the extra like shoulder pauldrons to
Hmm.
her, which was a very distinct look amongst the 2000X line.
Yeah.
So I think that's really great that they've gone ahead and added that too.
Hmm.
And if you buy more than one, all you got to do is pop the legs, pop the arms off, and you can pop all of, this version of Tila's, parts to it. And then you've got a completely 2000X Tila.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's really cool that we're getting that. Um, I'm digging all the different versions of the Snake Men. Like, we're really getting that kind of 2000X storyline with that Ring of the Serpent and changing. Um,
Hmm.
I got to say, I'm kind of hoping we get a Snake version of Mechanic now. And he comes with, instead of the Mechanic extending neck, he comes with the Ratlore extending neck.
Yeah, yeah, I was kicking that around yesterday, just like, they had the one episode where they all got transformed into Snake Men. And so like, all right, they already did that with Teela and 2000, or I'm sorry, Classics already did it with Snake Man at Arms in that line. So it's like, well, what's stopping them from going to Mechanic and finally going, doing go make all of them Snake Men, kind of like how Mythic Legions is doing. Everybody gets a skull face now. Like why not?
Right. So Danny Phillips is actually calling out that the pauldrons themselves are for Filmation. But I, I got to disagree with you because she had bigger pauldrons in 2000X, and these are more like that. Whereas the ones that she had for Filmation were like just above the shoulder. They didn't actually protrude out a lot. These are protruding out a lot more because, again, it was that more anime style that they kind of wedged in with that animation of the time. Same
Mhm.
thing with like King Randor's pauldrons, are those really long, exaggerated ones that were more of what you saw at that time. Not to mention, Snake Tila was exclusively from 2000X, where she was
Yeah.
not part of the Filmation series. So that's why it's more of a 2000X line. But yeah, he's saying, seriously, Mattel, where is the Princess Power line in Origins? We nearly got all the Rulers of the Sun line now, and I agree.
Yeah, we did an episode of that before on Collectors of Power. We talked about the Princess of Power line. It should be in. That was back in October, so yeah, we've been talking about that in the past. We still haven't seen
Yeah,
anything yet.
I know, and I'm not sure where it falls again amongst the licensing rights because that is the
Yeah,
only thing I see holding it up. But at the same point in time, we're getting Filmation style Princess of Power line.
right.
So why
Yeah,
can't we get it in Origins as well? Is it
I don't know.
because Origins is that, again, it's an homage to the original lines, but I don't see where Mattel wouldn't have the rights to make their own versions of the toys again.
Yeah, I don't know.
If anything, I think it would be harder for them to make Filmation versions of
Or
these
eh,
characters.
or just the Filmation characters themselves. Like say like Koldar or whatever.
Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So I don't see where that is the true hang up here. I just don't see it. So my buddy's Customs is saying he's most excited for King Randor. He has the prosthetic leg piece, which again is more new tooling. Snake face and squeeze, absolutely. Some of the later release Snake Men that not as many people had a chance to. And my buddy's Custom saying he's missed out on the King Randor that was already out.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, because you can't find it anywhere anymore now, except
Yeah.
going to like
Mhm.
third party, which is a shame because I also missed out on it because I kept waiting for it at retail, never showed up.
Well,
Mhm.
By the time that wave was hitting, I was finally getting the 2000X He-Man, Skeletor, and Mantenna,
Mhm.
which had been out for months before that.
right.
So,
Hmm.
and I'm just trying to back through here. A lot of people making fun of my internet. Yeah, I was definitely having some issues tonight, guys, but I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody sticking around and having faith in me that I was able to keep coming back. Good news is Adam and Eldor covered all this on Masterversal Toy Hunters channel, which is absolutely true. They've been doing the news over there and making sure they've been covering it as it's been coming out, which is great. Also, apparently, they've removed the 3 per customer limit on Evelyn at Mattel Creations.
That's
So,
interesting.
well, that's because again, Darklyn was still available,
Yeah.
Mhm.
so she
No, I
didn't
know that, but yeah, it's just I'm surprised.
repeating the comments here. So yeah, the King Randor is a game changer. A 2000X version of a side character like that is a great sign. I absolutely
Yeah.
agree. Again, all new tooling to put this guy out. He doesn't share tooling with the previous one. The head sculpt's completely different, so they didn't even reuse the head.
Right.
And new armor, new weapons. Like, it's really good that we're seeing that. Not to mention the fact they already had released a Keldor earlier in the line, so now you can throw that battle together. You can
Mhm.
do that kind of whole opening episode from 2000X, which is really
Yeah.
cool because that was great. And I almost wonder how much of it was planned all along because we got that 2-pack like that first year in to Origins.
Mhm.
And, honestly, I hope they were planning this kind of thing all along, that they were eventually going to get to these characters.
I'm sure
Uh,
if it was selling, which it
yeah.
did.
My buddy's Custom saying they need to sell a snake pack set, and it comes with snake heads, long necks, so you can make any figure you want into a Snake Man variant. I agree with that. We've been saying, we want a Snake Man pack so you can build your own Snake Men since we saw those custom Snake Men at San Diego Comic-Con last year.
Yeah.
Snake Men parts, bucks, different kinds. Like you could just go down, like give a buck from like, Cobra Khan style buck, give a tongue lasher style buck, give a, rat lore style buck, and give different parts and swap them out. And that would lead right into releasing a Moduloc figure and a Multibot figure, which we need. It
Yeah.
needs to happen. I want to see
Mhm.
Moduloc, especially in Origins.
I'm sure he's coming.
He's got to be.
He's been teased on the art as well.
He has been. And it's good too, because I'm glad they've always been really good about teasing things and making sure that they eventually come through with them. And that's probably the best part because a lot of this stuff has been teased and they are pulling through.
Yeah.
And now, like more recently, we've had Too Bad and Spike Ore teased on the back of box art. Spikor is coming. It's been confirmed in that
Yeah.
Wave 14.
Yeah.
So bring it on. I want to see Spikor. I want to see Too Bad. I mean, by the way, the Too Bad Masterverse is so much more amazing in hand than just looking at it online through everybody else's videos. It is incredible. Thank you again, sis, for picking that up, getting it over to me. So I'm into that Randor. I've been customizing mine to have a more 2000X look. I'm glad. And, again, Danny saying his 2000X Tila has smaller shoulders. It's not so much about the toy that you have. Go back and look at the show, because if you're comparing the shows, again, her pauldrons were a bit bigger. But is that darn flocking that they just can't flock fast enough? Are we talking? Did I miss a comment here about?
I think about. I think he
Mossman?
meant Mossman. Yeah.
I've been sitting there saying about him for a while. Like, if he's supposed to be a Walmart exclusive, I can't imagine Walmart not carrying the line anymore.
I don't know.
But
maybe things may be changed. Who knows?
Could be.
Go get a vintage.
That's right. You can always go for vintage. I always support the vintage. So I think they're waiting for the anniversary of She-Ra cartoon coming out from them to do the She-Ra figures, similar to them doing the 40th for He-Man. And that could be true. We could be waiting to see that, again, 40th anniversary, and then dropping a whole bunch of Princess of Power stuff that year. And I think that would be a good way to kind of keep that going, hopefully keep the hype train rolling. I just hope they have enough in the pipeline with Origins to keep supporting what they've already been doing and then carry that forward. Because again, that is one of the hardest parts, is they've got this momentum. Can they keep it rolling forward? Like now it almost seems like they're trying to scramble and get as much out as they can while the hype's here. But if you throw it all at us at once and we get everything, what's your longevity? Like, I'm in it for the long haul if you guys want to steady produce stuff. But going at the pace that you're going, it's a little hard to keep up with. And that makes it more difficult to keep up with and collect. And again, I haven't been a completionist at all with this. But, I find it very hard to keep it going if we're not going to get that.
It's weird for me, at least, to think of how fast this line has come for. I mean, it's just literally 2019 was the 2-pack for San Diego Comic-Con, and the Adam and He-Man 2-pack, and then like here we are in 2023, and we're at wave 14, 15 coming out, and all, and all this stuff, and it's like I don't want to agree with Scott Knightlick on stuff, but I do feel like now that we've gotten past a lot of the core characters that a lot of people have been wanting, it's like, where do you go? And thankfully, like the 2000X stuff now is kind of like they, from what I understood, that was the plan with Classics, where okay, we need to re-energize the brand, so we're going to put out 2000X He-Man, 2000X Skeletor, but in Classics, and they didn't go there because the brand fell apart, around that time when they were thinking of redoing it. So I feel like they're starting to do it with this, where here's He-Man and Skeletor for 2000X, here's King Randor, here's Snake Tila and all that. So the potential of still getting those key characters is going to be there, but they're going to be a different take on the character. Just like New Eternia for Masterverse is going to be doing something similar like that.
Right.
But I think the fans have already proven, if you release a He-Man, if he's a little bit different, you're going to want to buy that He-Man because it is a different He-Man.
That's
and
right.
If you're a completist, there you go. But no, for me personally, I am getting a lot of glee seeing the 2000X stuff showing up, because I still to this day feel that is the best story they ever did for Masters of the Universe, with the cartoon and the mythology they were building, and I'm hoping it gets more notice now. They're putting it back on YouTube through the Mattel channel and all that stuff. It's like this, it deserves that. So I'm
Right.
really glad it's not happening the same way twice with this line, where here's a couple things. Oh, we're pulling the rug out from under it again. Um, and like the whole fact earlier we were talking about, okay, Target, Walmart are pulling back. At least they're not going, well, we're done then. This is
Right.
like they're not redoing that method either. They're keeping it alive, at least online. So one way or the other, you got something coming to you, which is great.
That's been for me like the whole thing the whole time is whatever avenues they're continuing to put it out, keep putting it out. If you're not going to put it in retail, that's fine. If you keep offering it online, people will buy. But will it be enough to keep the line continuously running? Now, I got to say, in all actuality, Classics ran for a very long time going that route.
Yeah, that went for
2008 to 2016. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Considering the original run only lasted 5 years, 1982 to 1987.
Yeah.
Classics outlasted the original, which we all love.
Exactly.
And
go
ahead.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, for the fact that here we are, we're going on 4 years, because I know it's in the fall of this year, it would be 4 years at this point. That the Origins line has been going on. But for me, I'm like, when I was a kid with the vintage line, I remember the 8-packs showing up on the shelves down in Baltimore and stuff, and that was a big deal. Like, that was, what is this toy line? Oh my God! And then, like, randomly there'd be Faker would be there, and I'd be like, okay, what's up with Blue He-Man? Oh, okay. My mom bought me that just out of curiosity. She's like, what is this? Like, why is he blue? She thought it was like a factory mistake. So she's like, oh, this could be worth some money later on or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's
sadly,
like you get these trickles of, like, okay, there's an Evelyn. Who's Evelyn? And Trapjaw and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, boom, the next wave hits with, like, Battle Armor He-Man. And it was like game changer. All of a sudden there's the whole freaking wave of these characters, whereas it was kind of like a trickle leading up to that point, at least for me, from my perspective as a kid. And it's like, to see it this way, where it's just wave, wave, wave. Like you said, it's like, it's really hard to even keep up with how much is being offered right now.
Yep.
And especially, like, if you are a completist, how fun is it to do this right now? Like, how fun is it to collect this? Like, there's other lines that have it worse, like Ninja Turtles. If you're a completist there, holy God, how are you affording that stuff? That with all of the different companies doing this and all that. But yeah, it does. Like, there is a part of me where it's like, it's just like a machine now, and that's rough. At least when I was a kid, I felt like I would find a surprise, and it would be, hey, there's Evelyn. Hey, there's Trapjaw. Awesome. I'd pick them up. But it's like, this is now just like, it's a well-oiled machine. It's just every couple months a new wave, and that to me is like a new wave every couple months. That's nuts.
It is nuts, yeah. And then you get collector fatigue as well,
Oh yeah.
And that's only masters that you're talking about. I mean, if people are getting into all kinds of lines, that's a lot of toys people are buying at one time.
Absolutely.
Yep. So Carlos was asking, are pop more expensive for Mattel due to royalties? And again, it's a question where I'm not sure, but Brick,
I don't know.
He was also right along with it, talking about the fact that, they're doing the filmation with Princess of Power in Masterverse. So there's no reason they shouldn't be able to do that in an Origins scale as well. And I got to agree. I think they're just missing the mark that fans would buy Princess of Power in Origins scale. There's plenty of us that have expressed interest. So Thanos Copter mentioning that Entertainment Earth put Randor back up for pre-order, which is definitely cool. Got to check that out and make sure, because I would like to get that guy again. Always want the Burger King to hand out the Whoppers in Eternia. Masterversal Toy Hunter was saying that the play set's coming out, Spiker, Snake Tila, and Snake Tila. So good he put her twice. I got to agree. It's just neat to see her coming as a figure, especially because I believe she was a con exclusive
Yeah, she was.
back in the day. So
Yep.
it's really cool that she's coming out as a retail now.
Yeah.
All right. So Payne's Toy Samples is heading out and saying, seeing most of you over the next few days and on Oz's show on Saturday. You know it. We'll all be there again. Hanging out,
Yep.
talking about the same stuff. But Masterversal saying that all good. It keeps it fresh in our minds. And I got to agree too. You know, it's good that they're going to keep it coming. Now we've got Kenneth Hampson has joined in here, talking about good point. Snakehead neck, accessory pack. You know, Skelly and I did bring that up like right at San Diego Comic-Con. Like, we need to see this multi-part. And you know what? Honestly, it'd be cool if they just did that with like a couple of generic heads and a couple of different buck pieces, and you could just create your own Masters character and sell the accessory packs. Where are the accessory packs? We only had one in the original line, but I got to tell you, those were a big hit with classics. The different accessory packs that they released every so many waves. Huge hits, getting alternate versions of accessories you already had, getting new tooling for accessories they wanted to put out and couldn't justify the cost. I think it'd be great to get in some of that and getting parts from, like, again, I always talk about the masters of the WWE universe, and they've got some individual tooling for some of their stuff, and how cool it would be to see that come over into Origins.
Yeah,
I guess some of you
I
guys
agree.
don't care as much because you don't open, but that would be great.
Yeah.
Bobby.
No,
I know.
I like, if they're missing the boat on anything. I mean, I'll say it because I mean we talk about it on Legion's class and stuff, but I mean, like, the fact that they have the deluxe Legion builders, and the fact that you have now the skeleton ghoul set, the undead set, the builder set they're putting out in the Necronominus wave. It's like you can create whatever you want using these pieces. It's like that is now the missing component of what this line should be, because they already started it with, you can pop the arms off, you can pop the mid piece, the from the loincloth apart, and the heads. But it's like, that's all well and good, but it would be kind of cool if you had some extras that you could throw into the mix. And, like, exactly, have, here's the accessory pack, plus we'll throw in a couple of heads, and we'll throw in a couple of, like, different arms, for reptile arms and human arms
Right.
or whatever. So,
Right. I mean, they've got everything they need to put out builders and create your own MOTU character.
Yeah.
And I think they're missing the mark, like you said, Sean. That would be a huge seller.
Mm-hmm.
And they've sculpted enough individual tooled pieces now that they could definitely get by with that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, my buddy's Customs talking about that sculpted leg, because
Mm-hmm.
in the original battle in the first episode of 2000X, his leg got injured, and then throughout the rest of the series, they showed that because he had like a brace on that leg. And I always thought that was cool that they continued that on from that first episode. So it's really nice. And again, bringing up the fact that Modulok already has his chest, feet, and hands with Frogmonger being released, so we have some of his parts. Well, again, Modulok had more different arms and hands as well.
Yeah.
The hands from Tongue Lasher are those Frogmonger hands, I was pretty sure.
Yep.
So it's good that we're seeing multiple use of that. Spikor was half tooled from the WWE line with the Junkyard Dog. Absolutely. And again, just hoping we get Chief Carnivus in Origins from Hillian Dread here. I agree. That was great. I loved the fact that they were introducing, with the Evil Warriors, we had a lot of these crazy looking, distinct, beastly characters. And then in 2000X, we saw like Whiplash. There's a whole race of his people in Subternia. Clawful, there's a whole race of his people coexisting in the ocean with Merman.
Yep.
And I think we need to see more of that here. Give us some of those side tertiary characters. Again, give us random pieces to build those characters. I'd buy it. Build up the lore.
I had no idea the 2000X Randor was going to be such a hot topic with listeners tonight, because for me it was just holy crap, they're going there, and that's a piece of the puzzle that I'll never get in another line other than Origins, because they only made that statue. I think NECA made that statue of
Yeah,
Randor
the
back in the
statue.
Yeah,
2000
they
X
did.
days.
Yeah.
But like we never had another version of it. Now that they're doing that, and like I said, there's a part of me that's like, I wish it would have been in Classics first, and then they could have graduated it to Origins. But now that they're going here, like if I had a wish list, the first thing on the top of that wish list is I want the freaking Ambrosia powered web store from 2000X, because
Yes.
Yeah.
that thing, my kids would be so scared to death of that thing. That would be like having Spydor, but with a freaking like character
Yeah.
instead,
Right.
and instead of it just
Right.
being a giant robotic spider. And ever since I saw that in 2000X, I'm like, I've seen customs, but I want an official. This is that take on Spydor or web store. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that would just be, that'd be like freaking heaven if that ever happened.
Well, another thing that I like too is they introduced that larger body buck with the Andre the Giant figure
Yeah.
in the Masters of the WWE line.
Mhm.
That figure doesn't scale as large as those giants that were released with the original series,
Yeah.
but they have this larger body buck.
Hmm.
Honestly, I think they've done enough. Like, okay, again, you got Megator, right?
Hmm.
You got Titanus. Why can't we get some giants in this line? You've got the 3 giants teased on packaging. It's been there. Let's see them come out with those. And again,
Yeah.
release Megator. Release these other giants that we have. There's a space for it and people want it. They want to legend build and world build with MOTU. I mean, it's one of the greatest facets of this toy line that made classics so successful.
Absolutely. Like I never expected to love Gygor, but I had
Right?
Gygor, and that is one of those figures where I looked at him at one point. I'm like, oh my God, he even has freaking like fingerprints on his feet and stuff. The amount of detail the Horseman did, but then on top of that, it's like here's something that it's a deep cut. It's really cool that it actually happened. Same with I know it wasn't like the legit the way it was meant or initially, but like Vicron from
Yeah.
the classics line. It's like you can now have Tank Kid, you can now have the Spaceman version and all that too. And so like I feel like classics got away with a lot of that stuff, and they did it in a way where I'm like, that's really cool. It's like you get a piece of history even though it wasn't the original version. And now it's like Origins is kind of like hold my beer now, and they're doing this stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so now you're coming out with this, and it does make me really curious. What else are they going to do with what will happen? Because if they release those three giants from 2000X, I'm just going to be sitting here probably like cussing my head off after a while, going like, I wanted that classics.
Right?
Why you're killing me, people?
Right.
Right?
So.
I agree. I mean, it's something that, you know, I love the fact that we are getting the teases from the packages. I love the
Hmm.
fact that they're willing to take a leap and do something like Frogmonger, where we're
Yeah.
going to tease the sticker for 2 years and then we're finally going to put them out. And people went crazy over it. They wanted it. We've all wanted it. We've been hyped for it.
Hmm.
So, and again, with that, I mean, Thanos Copter here is talking about what's going on with the pre-orders for Wave 12. Well, what's going on with the distribution of this line, period, and its availability anywhere?
Exactly.
It's a common problem across the board, but I'm assuming we'll get some pre-orders eventually. I think what really makes people confused and mad is when you see things that people are getting at certain retail stores and they're getting these things earlier than people can even pre-order them online.
Hmm.
And it confuses and angers people because the FOMO builds.
Yeah.
And promoting FOMO is one of the worst things in the world. I'm sorry. You know, showing off that, hey, look, this was available. This got picked up. I've got this now kind of thing. And then it's like, people start panicking. Am I going to be able to get it? Am I going to get that? And you never know, because you don't know if you're going to even see this in store. But don't worry. We'll get pre-orders available through Entertainment Earth. We'll get pre-orders available through Big Bad Toy Store.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else has been pre-orderable. How long it will be available, that I can't say. But don't let FOMO get to you just because you see other people getting stuff in hand.
That's true. That's true.
And Nolan wants them to give us the dinos they teased with CamoCon. Well, we all want some dinos. Who doesn't love
Well, yeah, I'm
dinosaurs?
sure that's going to be a big thing coming up soon. All that
I
stuff.
hope so.
Especially with the Eternia set coming out next year.
Right.
It might be more later on.
It could be. It could be. They've got molds for some great dinosaurs just sitting over there in the Jurassic Park section of Mattel. Just saying. Walk over, borrow a few sculpting pieces, add some guns to it. Oh, hey, look, not only do you have Masters of the Universe dinosaurs, this is the perfect setup to bring Dino Riders back.
There you go.
And keep promoting that line. So if we have 2000X coming in more now, we could get more She-Ra. And since the 4-pack, we got New Adventures He-Man, getting New Adventures on our Origin line. And, we could have Origins for years. I agree. And I hope we keep seeing it. And if they keep putting out stuff in Revelations, if they keep putting out stuff with CGI, it's going to help keep the brand going too. The extra media support needs to be there. That's why I'm glad we're getting the Dark Horse comics. And again, if you guys want to check out a great episode of people talking about that, Legends of Grayskull podcast, episode 99 just went live, just came out. Go watch it. They talk it all up. I was enjoying that while having some coffee this morning before I had to go to work. Filmation versions could keep the line going for a while too, and the Frogmonger comic had a big New Adventures tease.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
it did.
That's really cool. On RU83 was looking through the character encyclopedia. So many characters they could do.
Of course.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a huge book.
And they even had an extended book too.
Yeah. You could, well, like right after it came out, and then we got 3 more toy lines dropped.
Yeah.
I really would love to see an Origins 2000X Trapjaw with that oversized mechanical arm, or Man-at-Arms with the giant shoulder arm, etc. And yeah, I agree. It'd be great to get stuff like that. And I'm hoping we will get stuff like it.
Yep. Those are my 2 favorite characters.
The
also,
thing that we're... Oh, go ahead.
No, please, by all means.
Oh, I was just going to say that the only thing about the 2000X stuff that I've seen so far, Randor being the exception of the rule, as far as I'm concerned, is I feel like they don't go 2000X with the 2000X quite the way 2000X did. And so I feel like if they go there, which, I agree with Bobby, like Trapjaw and Man-at-Arms. I'm not a Man-at-Arms guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I loved him in 2000X. When I saw that figure, like, my God, he's a one-man army now. This is insane. I would probably not put money on them making that stuff as like the shoulder pad is big, or the mechanical arm nearly as big. And that's kind of one of the things for me, at least with the aesthetic of Origins, it wouldn't fit. And then that makes me just more wanting them to almost do like a point, like a 2000X 2.0 kind of a thing or whatever, where they do that and make it more like the way that they looked originally. But because that's one of the hindrances of that line for me, is the articulation is rough. They're fun. I love the sculpts, and I love a majority of those figures, but when you compare them to what we have now, they have not aged as well as other things, because their articulation is still pretty much 5 point of articulation
or less.
Or less, exactly. And
some of the heads did turn.
Oh, and it's like I still want to meet the person that said, "Oh, Skeletor needs a plunger in his back so he can move his arm." It's like, really? Really? Like what? Like when I opened He-Man, I was scared to death he was gonna have the same thing at first because I'm like, wait a minute, why do you need this? The play feature was you twist and then they punch. That's it. You don't need anything unless it's a specific character. Like
Right.
Manny faces, that makes sense. Spin the dial, you're good to go. But when they started doing like, oh, Beast Man has to go this, like, no, he never had to do that. That was never a go-to move for Beast Man, for me at least.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah, they were limited, but they gave them
yeah,
the features that definitely made them for kids. Now
yeah,
that's pretty much all but gone with Origins in a lot of ways. They're not including nearly as many gimmicks, and they're
yeah.
going more towards the swap and pop, or pop and swap
Mhm,
rather. I'm okay with that, but I do miss features because certain characters it just made the character. I was highly disappointed to not get that extending neck feature with Mechanic.
mhm,
I do think it's great that we get an extending neck with Mechanic,
mhm.
but I miss out on that twist. I mean,
Oh,
it's great for the photography, but
yeah.
Yep.
No, I agree with you. There is something about coming home to a when you have that feature. But at the same time, like again, going to classics at least had the you could put one on top of the other and finally have his head going like, 12 feet higher than him or whatever if you went by scale. And I like that to an extent. And the fact that they're incorporating it, like you said, toy photography wise, you don't have to have guys, like he's always
right,
Yeah, right.
guys.
turning off to the side. I see shit over
There's
here.
a little Richard Simmons going, I'm sweating to the oldies, but I got this guy.
Sweating to the oldies is how you can get your underwear to talk.
Well,
Oh
yeah.
shit! Throw it in the corner, let it
Just
You've
let it
been
fester
on a
go.
for a little bit.
podcast for more than 2 hours. Your underwear's probably going to leave you after a while. It's like, I'm sweaty enough as it is in this chair. I've had
Oh,
a few
great.
of those on Legends of Grayskull.
It's like half my week between this and Nostradamus Toys Live and then channel work, plus my 8-hour days.
I know this is my chair I work in too, so I'm in this all day long.
I'm screwed.
Eyes, eyes.
It's
For the love
haunting
of
me.
God.
Is that how it sounds?
I guess so. I mean, I guess it's better
Baby
it sounds like.
powder.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
horrible. We've lost so many people just based off of talking about that. They're all leaving, marching on their way out.
talking shorts.
We're talking shorts. We ain't talking shit. We talking shorts.
Oh man,
So the Thanos Copter is just bringing about
full of
folding
crap.
in more lines like Sunman, like Remco and Fruza T. What do you guys feel about that? Would you like to start seeing some more of these lines come in?
I don't know what.
Rem. Oh, go ahead, Bob.
No, I was gonna say I don't understand the question.
Okay, so well, like Remco did Warlords, and that was
Okay,
to try and capitalize
right.
on the MOTU popularity of the time. And Fears of T came out just not too long ago, and again, it was like direct MOTU molds with some slight retooling, like they gave
Well, those are the ones you were
He-Man a
showing that one
goatee.
day. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Right. So they gave He-Man a goatee and stuff like that, which, by the way, we've seen that head sculpt now with New Eternia Battle Armor He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
All they'd have to do is color his hair green. So, and again, from Warlords, the beard, very similar to that kind of head sculpt. What do you think? Do you think this is something maybe we could start seeing in, even if it's not just in Origins, is it something we could start seeing in Masterverse?
The Remco stuff. What I remember of the Remco stuff, I should say, a lot of those were DC Comics properties, which makes me think it probably wouldn't work because Warlord was a DC Comics character, with the white goatee and the horn or
Right.
the winged helmet. And then they had Arak, and he was a comic book. I don't know if that was in conjunction with Remco to promote the line or not, but I know that he was out there. And then they had Hercules, and then eventually they did a Conan.
Yeah.
And that one had like the lion pelt around him, and I had that as a kid because that was the only Conan I could find. And I remember
Right.
thinking, this is garbage, but it says Conan, I'll take it because I wanted a Conan figure after loving He-Man for so long too. Um, I don't know if that would even be possible, but the Flares of T stuff, it would be really fun because I like when I first found out about that line, and then you see the characters that they have, it's like these really are a whole nother brand of crazy, and it's fun. Like I like that their He-Man palette is a Palatino, I think, or something like that. It starts
Yeah.
with a P. And he's got the green hair and the goatee and everything. Then he's got Fisto's glove and stuff in it, and I think he's wearing Jitsu's armor, and I'm just like, this is like the craziest version of you just throw all of your vintage toys on the floor and you tell a kid make something, and then all of a sudden they come back to you with this, and you're like, I would have never thought of that before. That's
Right.
freaking cool, you know.
Well, and
So
then like,
yeah,
go ahead, finish up.
no, that would be the line where I'd be like, I'd really be curious to see that being folded into it. And the other one that I could throw out there is because of Filmation is Black Star.
Yeah.
Yes, Black Star would be great.
I'd love to start seeing them put in some Black Star stuff. And, you know, again, we've mentioned it several times before. Black Star, Thundar. Like, do one-offs. Try to get the licensing somehow just to make a one-off. Even if it's like a convention exclusive, it would sell like hotcakes. People want that in their collections just to put it next to He-Man. You know, get this giant barbarian force. Shawn, I know you're with me. You love barbarians, same as I do. And I'd love to see more of that, you know. So moving in here, I see we've got Fish Tropic Canada has joined in. What's going on, Fish Tropic Canada? Good to see you, buddy. And let's see, since Sunman is now part of the Masterverse, they need to do a show or a movie about He-Man and the Masters meeting Sunman and his heroes. I'd love to see it. And definitely talk it up. Use the comics as a guide where we're introducing Rulers of the Sun to help combat the Snake Men. It makes perfect sense. You've got this new, or in the Snake Men case, this rise of an old ancient evil that has come back, and you need some extra firepower to put it out. So here's this whole new group of heroes to help reinforce who's already there. Plus, you team up a little with the villains and you bring that into effect. That's a great idea. I love it.
Yeah, it was something missing from the line for me as a kid. I always felt bad. There's literally Skeletor, the Horde, and the Snake Man, and He-Man's kind of like, where's my boys? Like literally, I started the line. This is what I've got. What the hell, Mattel?
Right. Absolutely. And yeah, Fish Trap, I've been looking for my Burger King sign holder. I agree. So yeah, EE has King Randor for pre-order, but no, that's only for the entire wave and not King Randor separately. See, I need the whole wave, so you know, and get the extra scratch, got to get that whole wave. You know, and he's saying, Fish Tropic saying he needs a Masters Universe crossover with Stargate. Why not? You got a Stargate, open up a portal. Let's do it. Let's roll with it. I'd be down for that.
You do have Gwildor. I mean, you don't need a Stargate. You got Gwildor. You got the Cosmic Key. Run with it.
So Thanos Copter is just wondering if they even need the rights to get the Fury because they've already got all the parts. I mean, he's made a beautiful custom techno that he's posted on his Instagram from Fusion T. And I agree. Like, maybe they don't need the rights for the parts, of course. Maybe they need it for the names. But then again, change a letter or two. Come on, we've seen everybody do that crap. And it's not like Mattel doesn't have the money to pay a lawsuit or 5. Especially with the money they're making off of us. Mind you, I guess all that's going into King Randor's tooling for his leg.
Yes, they've been saving.
Saving their pennies. You know what? But I'll allow it just because, give us a crazy clown wave. Why not? Bobby might even open a few figures then.
Yeah.
Thanos Copter saying maybe he's a nerd, but I like the politics of the other kingdoms from 2000X, and Adam learning to be a diplomat is interesting. I agree. Again, it helped build the lore of the show. It really got involved with the rest of it.
I'm so happy.
Right? Look, you're not the only one, Sean. There's several else of us out there. I know Bobby is definitely more of a filmation guy, and there's nothing wrong with that too, because without that being the basis for the lore,
sure.
Because they incorporated so many things from the filmation version and wrote stories around it when it came to the 2000X, which I thought was a good part here.
I like the simple stuff.
Of course, there's nothing wrong with simple. KISS method I live by. Keep it simple, stupid.
Okay.
And so, by the way, my buddy Custom, buddy, I would try to pull it up and show it on screen, but that has not worked out so well tonight for me. And so I don't drag the stream on more, then I'm going to definitely not share this. However, why don't you go ahead and post a bunch of it on Discord real quick? And then if people sign up for the Discord, then they can go check out or sign up for Patreon.
Sour.
They can go do that. That was terrible. It was a hard push. But...
It was sour.
So yeah, Fish Tropic Canada is also looking for Web Store and Ninjor. It's tough to find those guys at a cheap price. I agree.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, right now, I was just, we didn't even go over picks of the week because, again, for a lot of us, it's been a little slow. But
yeah, I didn't get nothing, so I didn't miss nothing.
I actually got lucked out, and somebody who's very important to me, an amazing girl, got me Tila, Wave 1 on card. And this figure is very important because, again, people know that I am going and doing that scrapbook idea for the card backs because you got all these card backs wondering what to do. And I want to do like a cover sheet of doing the cross sell. Make that like a cover sheet and then doing the top part of the art backs, from there and including those. So this is insanely important to me that I have this version to fill out that wave. Now, I was talking with Bud a little bit earlier. We were discussing the fact that there's two characters that I still need for like wave 4, which is Triclops, regular Triclops, not the mini comic Triclops. So that's the version I did get. But getting Triclops and getting Stratos, that original Stratos figure that came out with that wave. And the sad part is like I want it just so I can get that new inbox and then have the card art. It's tough. It's going to be pricey, but eventually I will just have to hunt it down over time and really kind of get those. So Playmates is letting everyone do Turtles. Let's get it Origins, Mikey, and April. You know what? Yeah, why not? Just go for it. We got Ninjor's nunchucks. It'll work.
Yeah.
We get a Leo using Jitsu and Ninjor's sword. Why not? Let's do it. Okay, here, going back through here. So earlier when we were talking about the Giants, Mattel Kickstarter, Giant 3-pack. Why not? Let that be the next crowdsource project. Let's go for it. New tooling for Giants. Let's do it. WWE Superstars Typhoon figure gave us the larger chubby guy buck. Have you seen that, by the way?
No.
Okay, so they discontinued doing the Masters of the WWE Universe and they started putting out WWE Superstars. They're using the buck system for Origins, but they're just doing their regular Superstars in gimmicks from across the ages kind of thing. And they all come with soft goods. I've got 2 figures so far. I've got a Bray Wyatt and I've got a Mankind. There's more from that line that I do want to pick up. Like now they've got an original Undertaker out. They got a Papa Shango who's got, again, all great accessories that can go with my Masters of the Universe stuff. But just recently there was a new wave coming out and it's got Typhoon from the Natural Disasters tag team. And they've released a more solid, less ripped buck.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have the big abs. He's got a beer belly look to him. He's got, a flatter chest, not as much as that ripped muscular chest with all the creases for the muscles. And that's a new buck that they can have for Origins now because it's the same system.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to see more figures with that kind of thing. Nolan mentioning if you get the upcoming Slamurai, you can definitely get a Ninjor. And I know I want another Ninjor because mine has gummy legs. Ooh, sorry to hear that. More people agreeing about the Giants. I agree. It would be great. Seriously, the buck is amazing, and I want to get like 10 of Typhoon, make Masters of the Universe out of shape universe line. Retired He-Man.
Yeah, right.
That would be fun.
Oh man, I am so backed up in the chat. We talked about this forever.
I know
and,
you're way in the back. Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up here.
Just catch up. Just go to the bottom one and we'll be caught up.
Okay, fine. I'll jump all the way down to the bottom. Talking about the Papa Shango looks awesome and want to pick them up. Absolutely. I've actually passed on them a couple times because the only problem is these guys, they are more expensive than the. Oh man, Bobby's had to turn off his camera. He's getting too excited over there.
Yeah, just give me a minute.
he's about to cry.
Here comes the vapor rub.
Oh man, not while we're live, Bobby. Come on, you can at least wait until we go off. So
the body only knows what it wants.
So on RU83 has said still looking for wave 10, and I gotta agree, I'm still looking for wave 10. Figuratively speaking, says he still needs a Castle Hellskull. Well, look, before we get Castle Hellskull, let's at least get that Snake Mountain out. We know it's coming, but let's get it out first.
If they do a Castle Hellskull, I don't even know what. I'll just be like, you've got to be kidding me. They're what they're bringing out. Because I honestly don't know if I could sleep in the same house as that thing. That thing actually makes me get really weirded out the more I look at that in that fan art. It's just,
oh man,
it's hitting all the right levels of things that make me just go, I can't sleep. I have to sleep with one eye open knowing that's in my house. I'm really weird like that.
Wow.
The angelic face, but making it look demonic. There's something to that it like at its core just gives me like this. That's wrong. What the hell? Like it's spooky enough, and then on top of that, Anti-Eternia He-Man gives me the heebie-jeebies for the same thing. It's like he's the Michael Myers of Masters of the Universe, in my opinion.
right?
So there's this like unrelenting evil. That's where the unrelenting evil is based, and it looks innocent, and it looks wrong. It looks it's like a damnation version of it. It's like that just unsettles me on a whole bunch of levels. I'm really weird like that.
I agree. Well, and then Thanos Copter, he's actually made his own custom Castle Hellskull, which looks amazing. But he used a baby doll head to get the face. So talk about making it even creepier.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the only way you can pull it off unless they did a legit version, and that's really weird. I mean,
yeah.
It's like that doesn't bother me much because I grew up around toys all my life. But when you start adding it in and turning it into something that like it looks so innocent, but it's evil, it's like there's a reason why kids in horror movies still works because it's freaking scary. If you're an adult and you have kids, you're like, oh crap, now what? Yeah, I don't know, going down that tangent, but I love that look. It's scary enough that makes me just go like, I'd want it, even though I would hate myself for it later.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. So Thanos was saying just because they own Galoob, though, doesn't mean they have the Black Star rights, I guess. And it's true. They may not, because Black Star existed before the toys existed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was a Filmation property, right?
Right.
Yeah, Filmation did the cartoon. Galoob did the figures after He-Man got popular.
Right. It was something that they picked up because before they weren't sure whether it was going to sell or not.
Well, yeah, Black Star was prior to He-Man.
He-Man,
of course.
Yeah. But again, like you said, once He-Man took off, everybody was scrambling for every kind of barbarian style toy that they could make.
Black Star is right there.
Excellent. God, it was such a good line. And like, even though the playset wasn't it certainly wasn't Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
The playset for it was a lot of fun too. Or wait, I'm thinking Crystar, aren't I? Isn't that it?
I
Or
don't
was
know.
it Black Star?
Black Star. Well, they had that ice castle.
That's the one. Yeah, so it was Black
Yeah.
Star. I'm right. I thought I was. Second guessing myself. I know my stuff. So Castle Hellskull, Shawn, I'm going to eat your soul while you sleep.
Little
Soon we
girl
will become
giggle.
one. Right. Which again, one of the most frightening noises you could ever hear is one of the sweetest sounds you can ever hear. The sound of children laughing, especially like
The
those
thing,
little infant giggles.
when to share real quick how my mind works, there was one night where my wife was out of town and I had to be here with the kids, and this was when my son was like not even a year old yet. So I'm having to stay up all night trying to get him to sleep. He would not fall asleep. So long story short, I ended up falling asleep on the couch. My daughter was back in her room, and we had the Christmas tree still, the lights were still on, but everything else was dark in the living room. So I'm there trying to sleep. My son finally fell asleep. And then all of a sudden, I look over and there's a silhouette of a little girl standing right next to me. And I came so close to punching her in the face because all I kept thinking was like The Shining and all this crap in my head. And I was like ready to swing. And then she's like, "Daddy," I go, "Oh God." So I almost needed to call 911. This was horrible. Like I did not want to hurt my daughter. But the first thing that came to my head, this silhouette of a little girl, is just like, you don't know what's in the silhouette. You don't know what that face is and all that. That's how my mind works. I don't know what the heck is wrong with me.
No,
But
I
yeah.
agree. It gets creepy like that. It definitely gets creepy like that.
Oh boy. This is why I should be licensed to do anything. That's all there is.
I give you free reign. Come on now.
No, but it's just like my weirdnesses are things that make no sense. Like my daughter and I had a conversation, and I was like, "Well," she goes, "What scares you, Daddy?" I'm like, "Well, I hate heights. I'm not a big fan of snakes. Snakes really give me the creeps." And I'm like, "There's something else that freaks me out." And she's like, "What?" And I go, "You're gonna think it's silly." And she goes, "Tell me." And I go, "All right, fine." I'm like, "You've watched movies like the Godzilla versus King Kong movie." And she's like, "Yeah, that's great." And I go, "If that happened in real life, I would be so scared to death something would fall on me because I would not be able to move. Because the idea of something that huge existing scares the crap out of me." And then
Wow.
I started telling her about Cthulhu, and she doesn't want me to talk about it. She's like, "Do not ever mention its name ever." I would go, "This is what's wrong with me." Like, this is how my head works. The idea of going underwater and you see something like that, it chills me to the bone. So Castle Hellskull's right there on the list with it. I blame Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart video for all this shit. I don't know what's
There you
wrong
Oh
go.
with me.
God.
There you go. You should just blame that for most of the world's problems. Why not?
You're right.
Those glowing-eyed choir boys, I want to just it's like the minute I see them, I'm like, okay, burn them until they're dead, and then once they're dead, just burn them again because that's just freaking weird. What the hell is wrong with those kids? But anyway, yeah. It's like this episode is not so much a frenzy, it's more Sean's therapy episode or session. Like, oh
Well,
God.
We-
Castle Hellskull.
talking about creepy clown waves. Now I'm sitting here like this, and Bobby's just sitting back like,
I know.
why am I hanging out with
I
these
was
assholes?
like, both of you guys are sissies. What the crap,
I've
man?
been tuned out for like an hour.
That's why I had to turn the camera off.
Mm-mm. No.
It's like if I turn off the camera, they don't exist anymore for a few
Right.
minutes. I can have
Right.
a breather.
If I can't see them, they don't exist.
I say that all the time. I'm like, if I wasn't there, it never happened. So, anyway.
No, I agree though. I mean, it's exciting to see all these leaks because we all got a little flustered towards the beginning of the year with a certain somebody talking about how MOTU wasn't going to be around anymore. And clearly it's not the case that it's not going to be around because again, if you watch that video, he never actually says the toy line itself is going to die.
Right.
Merely mentions that it's not going to be sold at, and he even words it so specifically that it doesn't even actually say that it won't be at retail, but it heavily implies that it won't be carried in store. And then it's like, again, I've seen some evidence that can lead to that. But however, if we're looking at an online market, you could still get exclusives through online, which would be great. And again, as long as it's like more of a mass quantity than a limited release online, that I would not like. I get tired of that Mattel Creations format. And I mean, luckily, it seems that the hype has slowed enough down that some now figures are actually lasting on there for a while. Or maybe it's just the fact that they are producing more quantities of figures than they were initially. Having to open up 2 made for order formats that they did for Grizzlor and Wondar. I thought that was great. And I'd really like to see them do it again for other Mattel Creations exclusives as well. It's not like they couldn't. It'd be nice to have that, because there's been a couple of figures where it's like, wouldn't it be nice to have a made to order Space Sumo?
Yeah.
I think everybody has that sitting at their Target right now if they want to go buy it. I still don't know what went on in their head that made them think that that was a smart move to do.
I don't know.
On Mattel Creations. It's cool for the mini comic and it's cool for the back card art, but I really just don't see why that became a thing. So, and just going through here, getting a couple more of these orders. I know Danny had brought up the fact that Thundar was Nolan brought up the fact that Thundar is Hanna-Barbera, so that's Cartoon Network, and we need him and his dragon thing. And with that, also, Danny had brought up the Golden Girls, which again is another very similar storyline or toy line to She-Ra that never quite got as popular as it should have. But there's a lot of really cool looking figures in there. They had a couple of different male characters that would have fit in nicely. And he says it would look great going with, Eternia playset and doing a pre-Eternia look, which I kind of agree. But the female, the bad guy, she was a dragon queen. And again, her and doing the weird snake dragon emblem that she has kind of like matches with Ninjor, and that'd be cool too. Bring like a whole ninja clan into it, especially since we're getting Slamurai. Why not?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun line, and again, I want to see them do more. Like, I want them to expand more of the lore of Masters of the Universe and incorporating other lines, bringing it in, I think would be a good way and an easy way to do it because the stuff's already there. But we've still got a lot of really cool deep cuts that I hope to see come from just Masters of the Universe alone. Like, if we want more female characters, there was a ton of females in the original Filmation series.
Yep.
And again, we've already got all of it from Princess of Power that they haven't even really touched yet. And I really think we need to see a lot more of that.
Real quick too, on Instagram, Simon Eckert, I believe. Simon Eckert, yeah. It's his name on there is SCEBIQU. So I'm not even going to attempt to say that. He is one of those artists who he re-examines some of those old properties, and he started coming up with things like this. Since we brought up the Golden Girls, and some of this kind of artwork, especially with the fact that everything old is new again for people, this was starting to make me go, I wouldn't mind seeing some of these lines come back again and give us a fresh take on something that didn't work. Like you guys talked about that actually on your question episode, like what brand should come back and be given a second chance. And I know Bobby was saying, he bringing something back that worked the first time wasn't necessarily his favorite idea. So something like that, where it's what could have been, and that would be really cool. Like I was never into She-Ra or Golden Girl when I was a kid, but I'm more open to that idea now, probably
Right.
because puberty way back when, and now I'm okay with all these women warriors running around and all that. But I also just think the idea of you can almost see it as like a reflection of, okay, Shira did gangbusters enough that she still has that momentum to this day, but here's the other version that could have been, and just having some fun with that and giving it a little bit more prominence again for a couple minutes. So yeah, and he's got a ton of good artwork for Masters, ton of good art. He is. Oh, I'll throw it out there real quick because it was one of the first I saw, and I actually had to scroll by it really quick. He did. Where was it? Sorry.
I was going to say,
I
Shawn,
had
if
it
you
up.
can, grab his link and throw it in the chat.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's gorgeous.
That
And
literally,
terrifying.
yeah, it terrifies me just imagining what kind of evil is in that place, looking at it. So yeah, I'll send the link over to you then.
Absolutely. So, a couple other people here making some comments about some things here. Only real disappointment with Wave 13 is Tila doesn't have a snake face, and they didn't remove the horde symbol from the snake trooper, or at least paint the symbol green for the snake men. And I got to agree, that is kind of a bummer because that really, really would have been neat if they had included that detail. I think that would have been actually really, really awesome to do. But again, yeah, it is unfortunately for Snake Tila, it's just kind of painted on. It doesn't look like it's actually sculpted.
Right.
For the snake portion of it. But again, I also kind of understand that too, because that would be a heck of a lot more tooling to go ahead and do that. So again, I can kind of see that here. Now, for those of you that are seeing Skele Vader post in the chat, it's just because I'm hosting on his channel. He's not actually here with us, but that is the link to the Instagram account that Shawn was just showing off. So definitely go give him a like and a follow, because yeah, that was incredible right there. And I just had his Instagram up and I was looking at all of his stuff and wow,
He gets
that
it.
is
Like when I see his work, I'm like, you get what made me love this to begin with. And he's
right.
channeling it through his creativity now, and it's gonna reignite your passion even if you already love it. Thanks.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, one of the biggest things about Masters of the Universe that has always captured me, the art on these boxes. You know, the art on the back of the card, the art on the box. You know, and it's just amazing to see that tradition is continued. They definitely kept it going with the New Origins line. That's great. It even looks great on Masterverse with them doing the little side panel and then doing the back of the card. You know, again, big fan of Nate Barch, and it's another great reason that I'm into Mythic Legions now, because I get all the more of his artwork. But you know, it's like these kind of like are the big fantasy artists of our time, because you just don't have the Frazettas anymore. You don't have the Vallejos, you know, doing art like this. So like this is really what we're gonna get. And we all grew up being exposed to seeing their works of art across movie posters and, you know, different art books of the time. I mean, yeah, exactly. You know, it's right there for you. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like you see that style of art, and it's just something so amazing about it. I love to this day. My calendar hanging up in my room is a Frazetta calendar.
Nice.
You know, I mean, I love that. And it's great. I get to see it every day. I look up and it's like, you know what? That's some gorgeous art. And that is a tradition that they've kept. And I hope that they continue to keep moving forward with these lines. Got to keep that artwork. And I will say, I also think that is something that we missed from the 2000X. Although the sculpting in detail was all there for the figures.
Yep.
The packaging, it just wasn't there. I mean, we still got that kind of red and blue motif when they first came out.
Yeah, it was nothing. Yeah, it was nothing spectacular.
No, it really wasn't.
it's like you showcase the figure again on the back of it the way they
Hmm.
did. It's like I literally just saw that. Like I don't need that again here.
Yeah, right.
Where's my cool artwork that's gonna have like He-Man looks out over the plains to see, if anybody needs help today or whatever the thing was. It's like give me
Right.
that, but in a 2000X style. And
Yeah.
uh, there was a button like that was more. I hate to say that line every time I think of it, it's like I love the line, but it always felt like it was by committee. They didn't let the free reign be given the way it used to be. So
Right.
it never that's part of why it never caught on, I think, the way that the original did. But I still love it. I mostly love the cartoon, to be honest, but I still love that, it came back and it reignited me when I was like a 20 something again.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, He-Man, I'm home again. This is awesome. That's great.
Yeah. First time in like, 15, 20 years that it's like, oh man, I want to watch something. I want to watch this
Exactly.
cartoon.
Yeah, it was great.
Hmm.
It was a really, really good time. And it was over way too quick. Like
Yep.
it came back with just enough to, wet my palate a little bit, get me excited, and then it disappeared before I could really enjoy it.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah,
Eh,
the thing, like when it came out, I still to this day I remember thinking, well, it's gonna feel like Filmation, but it's just going to be like the animation will be a little bit different. So I'm like, okay, where's the theme song? That's not the theme song. Where's the theme song? I was completely confused by that because I didn't understand what that meant to reboot it in that way.
Right.
And then when they did the transformation, I was like, that's how you're doing this? Like no, like that was mind blowing to me. I'm like, Filmation just knocked it out of the park from the get go with that transformation. And then you
yeah,
see
they
the
did.
new one, and I'm like, oh, okay. But what mattered to me after a while, it wasn't so much what made Filmation great. It was, holy crap, there's a mythology they're doing. There's a continuity. Bring it. Like it's like Skeletor literally held his henchmen out to dry. He brings in the Council of Evil, and suddenly there's a attack on two fronts against the heroes, and I'm just sitting there going, "This is the greatest episode I've ever known in my entire life. Why have I lived this long not knowing this until this moment?" And
And you have He-Man. Or not
and
even
you have
He-Man.
He-Man.
It wasn't even He-Man, it was as Adam,
Yeah.
staring down at every enemy that he could
Mhm.
possibly have.
Yeah. And that was the first time when, because I was never the biggest Adam person. So the fact that that episode, he is literally the last person standing between Skeletor and the Gate of Grayskull. And I'm just like, dude, I like Adam. I've never liked Adam. This is great. It's like he's He-Man without being He-Man in this moment. How cool is that?
Right. I absolutely agree. It was just one of those epic moments. Now, my buddy's Customs bringing up, I wonder if they could continue the story in comic book form. I'd like a continuation of the story of 2000X. Now,
Same here.
again, if you go by a certain somebody, his work with classics is the continuation in the bios and in the comics that they did for classics, the continuation of the 2000X line. And he says that he based it off of notes that were left behind from Mike Young Productions, that he continued that story because he was a big fan of 2000X.
Mhm.
So, according to that, if you look at the bios and you look at the comics that came out from classics, that is the continuation of 2000X's story. But it gets convoluted with some other stuff. But hey,
Oh
it
yeah.
is what it is. I just like the fact that they found a way to really incorporate the different shows. So that was one of the neat things about the classics line and incorporating the storytelling. How He-Man went from Preternia and seeing the events of old by going back in time, seeing the Snake Men and dealing with that, bringing it into the future, and then going on and continuing the battle in New Adventures, and then tying that in with the Horde and just seeing that, this is against like Horde Prime and, again, even with stuff like the Unknown One as well, pulling the strings of the Snake Men, and it was a Trollin. Like, that was pretty cool. I really dug that, and it fleshed out a lot of lore that they had never really explored or explained. And so that was pretty cool. So yeah, it was a continuation of that line again, according to certain somebody who may have been a brand manager. So, well, I shouldn't say may have been a brand manager. He's very adamant he was the brand manager. But it's one of those neat things.
Yeah, like guys was saying, that it gets convoluted, so I wouldn't look at those and figure that's what they plan to do. I would just look at them as almost as I don't want to use the word and just throw it out there. It's like, but it's almost fan fiction of what could have been versus I would have rather sat down and talked to Dean Stefan before he passed away and go, what would season 3 have been? Can you tell me at least some of the major story beats you wanted to do in that season? And him being the guy. Yeah, exactly. Him being the guy, and unfortunately he's passed on now, but him being the guy, he might have gone, yeah, we had X, Y, and Z at least mapped out. We don't have the details, but here's the beats we wanted to lead to the end of that season. And that would have been enough for me to go, thank you. Like that's at least in my head, I can make my own version of that, and I'm a happy camper because it's one of the few series where anytime somebody goes, what show was canceled before its time? Every time 2000X. I don't care if you're talking, like live action TV shows, comedies, what it's 2000X. Bring that back, and I will sit in front of my TV and binge watch that from beginning to end again to see what season 3 turned into.
I agree. Well, one thing that I really like again, and it ties back in with the topics of tonight, I like that all these new leaks with Rise of the Snake Men, it is definitely the right time to pull more from that 2000X story. And it looks like we're going to see a lot more stuff from that kind of 2000X pool. We've already got, again, Snake Armor He-Man's already out. Snake Armor Skeletor's coming. Or he's out.
Yep.
The other Snake Men that they have coming in. That was one of the greatest things I think about 2000X with their inclusion of the Snake Men was that you didn't get a lot of Snake Men in Filmation. You got them with She-Ra because they incorporated them into the Horde with She-Ra. But in 2000X, you had Tongue Lasher, you had Ratlore, and they started to bring in Snakeface. You had them. You had Squeeze. These were characters that we only ever really got as toys, but not like really figuring out their characters within the show.
Right.
So I like now that we can see we've got Squeeze on the way, pretty much for certain. It's been confirmed. There's a listing for it on Walmart. There is, Snakeface, Squeeze, they're coming. We've already got Tongue Lasher on the way. Cobra Khan, Ratlore out. Like, we've pretty much got all the majors. And then we've had big teases with leftover characters like Terror and everybody that's on the back of the Camo Con card art. I hope that we get those. We're getting Snake Men Royal Guards. We're going to get Snake Men Tila. We're going to get Snake Horde Troopers. So we're going to get these snake figures, and they're really going to be a force to be reckoned with. And they seemed like such a small faction in the original toys, because with Hordak, you had the ones with the Horde that came out with Masters of the Universe, and then you had the ones that came out with the Princess of Power line, because the Horde continued into that. So you didn't get a whole lot. You got like Catra, she was part of it. But again, the Horde just seemed like such a bigger faction. Skeletor and his minions seemed like a big faction. And the Snake Men, it was just like, here's this handful of guys. And maybe it's because they were spread out a little bit more. You had Cobra Khan come out pretty early. And then later you got Tongue Lasher, Ratlore, and King Hiss. And then later you got Snakeface and Squeeze. And then that was it. It was done. but by then the line was wrapping up, so there wasn't a whole lot of room to plan more towards it. Classics really kind of expanded it a little bit more, and I hope we continue to see some of that expansion with Origins too. Like, I want to see more Snake Men. I'm a sucker for them. Sean, I know you don't like snakes, but
But I'm not a big Snake Man fan in general, and I think some of it is what you were just saying. They came out and it was just such a small faction. And like the thing about like Skeletor and the Horde was there was a variety to those.
Yeah.
Like you had Whiplash, you had Clawful, you had Stinkor, and then you had Grizzlor and Leech and Montana, and then all of a sudden snakes. And I'm not a big snake person to begin with. Like I don't want to kill them. I would just not like to be in the same room as them. I'd be thrilled with that. But 2000X was where I started reevaluating them because I I always felt like they just felt very same across the board. And then all of a sudden they had Rattler was now the general. And suddenly he's like bulky and he looks almost like half dinosaur, half snake. And I'm like, now you're finally getting into what could like individuality at least within that line. And
yep,
we never got the chance to have that to that extent. And like 2000X did make me go, I like them. And plus I love the fact that that serpent's ring, it's like, oh, you think you're the good guy, and then poof, next thing you know, you're one of them, and you just got assimilated. That's terrifying too. It's like, holy crap, how easy is it to make an army of them based on the good guys then? That's just
yeah,
nuts. So, I mean, it definitely helped them in my eyes, but out of the factions, it will always be like Skeletor, Horde, Snake Man. I
right.
always will be that way. But they proved to be a force to be reckoned with in that series.
Bobby, what do you got to say about it?
Nothing really.
I can tell your hands covering your mouth again.
I was like, I want to go home.
I'm just really tired today. I
I hear it.
apologize.
It's all good, man. Well, guys, we've hit that 2.5 hour mark that we're so famously known for on Toy Frenzy. What do you guys got to say? Let's wrap it up for the evening, and Sean, let's start with you. What are your final thoughts on all these leaks and supposedly more, about Masters Universe not being available at retail? What's your final thoughts?
I personally, I guess I've been groomed over the last 6 years, 7 years since I started collecting again, that online is the only way to go. I don't go on the toy hunts as much. If I go on toy hunts, I'm not looking at the stores. I'm going to like, oh, this guy has like a toy stand at a flea market. I'd rather go and see that just out of curiosity. Um, and I will miss Masters being on the shelves because I felt like that was missing when I started collecting again back in 2016. But classics and just my method of collecting have made me go, well, you're not missing out because the online way it's always 24/7. And as long as you got the cash for it and you got PayPal or whatever, you're good to go. I'm hoping that fans can transition to that if you weren't already doing that though, because the one thing I do want to say is I don't want to see the brand go away. I don't want to see. I know there's plenty of hardcore Origins and Masterverse collectors out there who want to keep this going, and I hope that it still can keep going forward in that way with it being an online brand. But I'm just happy it's out there. I'm just happy that, it's not something where Mattel's going to just wash their hands of it again like 2000X, and we're going to be waiting until we're 60 to get like something else out of it if they'd even bother with us with that.
Right.
So,
No, I totally agree with you on that. And
Yep.
it's really a big thing. Really now, if it's going away at big box retailer, it falls on us more than ever to be the ones to keep it going.
mhm.
We need to be the ones talking about it. We've all got an amazing platform to do so. So if we really expect to keep this brand alive and to keep it going and keep getting these toys that we all enjoy so much, that we care about and we love and we like to share with one another, we're the ones that got to keep it going. Now, even when Classics was around, YouTube was not the platform that it is today.
Right.
Yeah.
There was not this community of us basically telling Mattel, if you make it, we will spend our money on it. We have a much bigger voice now than we ever did.
Yeah.
And I think we got to utilize it if we want to keep seeing this thing coming. And it's out there for everybody to stumble across it. You know, when people sit there and start going like, hey, you know what? I don't necessarily know what Masters of the Universe is, but all these people keep talking, all these old dudes keep talking about Masters of the Universe. And hopefully some young kids are going to be like, you know what? What's that all about? Let's go check this out. Let's go look into it. And then they're going to find it. And I hope that's how it continues to go. But that's why it's so important for us to do what we're doing and to keep this ball rolling. Bobby, how about you?
Yeah, I don't care if it's not in the big stores anymore. I've always been buying it online anyway, and I think that's probably the best way for it to stay alive. I think that's where it's going to go, and people are more into they're invested in this line as it is now, so they're not going to want it to go away. So they'll keep purchasing it. As far as the new figures that were released or teased, I really don't care about any of them. Tell you the truth.
Right.
Shocking as it is, I just don't. They don't do nothing for me. I don't know what it is. I just don't care.
Well,
It's just I don't know. Everybody keeps talking about getting into all these new figures and all that stuff. I don't know. It's just something. Maybe I'm just in a mood or something today, but it's just yeah. Like Slammer Riot, I could care less about that one. I don't know. It's just yeah. I don't have a real strong feeling with these new ones coming out right
a,
now for this year.
a lot of these rely more on new stuff or deep cuts we never had as kids. That could be part of it, I'm
yep.
guessing, because
Yeah,
you are hardcore, more vintage,
yeah.
like what
No,
you had as a kid
right.
and stuff. So at
Well,
least from what I've gathered in the times that I've talked to you. So yeah,
yeah.
I can
Well, I
see
mean,
why these aren't doing much.
yeah. Well, the Frogmonger I was really into. I really wanted that because that was something we never had. I kind of like that stuff, but some of this, I mean, the Samurai, he's just boring. It's just I
Well,
don't know what it is with him. Yeah.
he's just basically a couple of swap parts and a repaint of Ninjor.
Right.
So I totally get it if you're not excited about it.
Yeah.
A Snake Tila, it's just the same thing as Tila with a different paint app.
Well,
And
it's like what Sean was
cool.
saying. The 2000X, the figures that came out at that time, I like the way they are. The way they're transferring into Origins, I don't really like the way they look in Origins. So it's just
Well, yeah,
I'd rather have the originals than get
Absolutely.
a remade version for Origins. I don't know. It's just they just don't do nothing for me for some reason.
I like
totally get it.
the He-Man I thought was okay. I won't say it was amazing, but it was okay. But I feel like the Skeletor they put out, that one I was like, are you trying? Like that one made me kind of feel horrible for that character because the
Yeah.
Skeletor, it really felt like they put everything into He-Man and Skeletor was just kind of there. He wasn't nearly as amped up to 2000X standards. And then it's like now you get Randor, and Randor's like 2000X, and there is like it's weird how that worked within this line. So yeah.
Yep. Well, the good part about it is like what, Thanos Copter is saying right here. You get to save some money now. If you're not interested in it, you're not excited about it. Bobby, I know for a fact you're not a completist. You don't need everything in that line.
I used to be a completist, and it drives you crazy when you are one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially when you miss out on those con exclusives because you're just going to be paying
Yeah.
a small fortune for them.
Yeah, and you do that, and then yeah.
It's like, what was it really worth it? What was the
Right.
point?
Exactly. That's what I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And I totally get that. That's why it's best to, curate, revise a collection, buy what's going to make you happy. Don't
Yep.
let the FOMO get to you.
Right.
If you let that FOMO get to you, you're just going to drive yourself crazy and it's not going to be enough.
Absolutely.
No matter what you
Yeah,
get in your collection.
when Origins came out and it was hard to find those initial figures, there were people paying $70 on eBay for a Skeletor. And
That's
then like a
crazy.
couple months later, you can go find it for $10 over at Walmart. You know, like
Yep.
I picked up 3 of them for $4 a piece.
Yeah.
see, and for me, like there is a certain amount of FOMO I usually get no matter what, because there is that, oh, the cool kids are doing this. But when I pull myself back and I go, yeah, but you have X, Y, and Z to deal with before you should really even fork out anything towards a toy line right now. When I focus on my priorities, it actually does make me go, I'm not missing out on that because I'm not going to feel guilty for doing that then.
Yep.
Yes.
And then I'm going to at least feel like these things are taken care of, and then I can get something and not have that hanging over my head or looking at it on the shelf going, yeah, you should have paid this instead of just buying that right now.
Yep.
Right.
So definitely, adulting sucks, but if it doesn't resonate with you, like you're saying, there's no point in even making yourself feel like FOMO or whatever,
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I love those con exclusives that came out the first 2 years. That Prince Adam and He-Man 2-pack, especially since it comes with the boot knife, the alternate tunic for He-Man and his soft goods. I'd love to have that in my collection. Absolutely. It'd be one of the most amazing pieces in my collection. But do I really need it though? Is it adding that much more to my collection if I were to go ahead and pay whatever astronomical price that is right now on the third party market to put it in my collection? No. The Lords of Power 5-pack. Oh my God, I'd absolutely love to have that, especially since it comes into that case that's so reminiscent of that old vintage case.
Yeah.
I'd freaking love to have it, and it would bring me joy. But the reality is, do I need it in the collection to make me feel like my collection is whole?
No.
Or can I just look behind me and be happy with what I have on there? And I totally can. Like, if I were to stop today, I'd actually be really cool with my collection. Like, I'd be proud of it and I'd be happy with it. Am I
That's
glad that I still get to add to it? Yes. Go ahead, Bobby.
No, I was just saying that's how I feel right now. I think I'm pretty set with what I got.
Yep.
I don't think I need to get anything new anymore.
That's right. And you never know, because there might be still something coming out
Yeah.
that, sparks that a little bit. Like if they were to try to revise into a 2000X Trapjaw, because again, I know you love Trapjaw.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would definitely get Trapjaw stuff, of course.
Right. So, I mean, it's like, as of right now, you're good with where you're at. And that's the best place to be because you're not worried about what's coming next. You can focus more on some other things.
Yep.
And when they finally do announce something that you're excited about or that's something coming down the line, guess what? You've been saving money. So now it's not going to be a big deal when you try to go run out and do that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's a very comfortable and awesome place to be.
Yep.
Absolutely. And my buddy's custom saying he's perfectly happy with the Wave 4 Triclops. And he goes, he feels it with the con exclusives. He would like to have mini comic Triclops, yes. And does he want to pay $70 for it? No. Well, the thing is, mini comic Triclops wasn't even just a con exclusive. They eventually brought it back out again later on Mattel Creations. It was available again. There was like a second mini run of it. You never know with Mattel Creations. They brought back stuff before, and it may come back again after it's supposedly completely done with. I don't think we're going to see that as much now because some of these SKUs have been sticking around for a lot longer. Like again, Master Versal Toy Hunter was bringing up the fact that him and Adam and Ace from Ramen Toy brought up the fact that there's no more limit on Evelyn. You can buy as many as you want now. They're like, forget the limit. We need to sell through these so we can put other product up. You want to buy one? Go ahead. Did you buy 3? Here, buy 4, buy 5.
Yep. Yep.
I wonder how that would work though. Because I know, like, especially with Wondar, when Wondar first hit and there was a limit of like buy 5 or whatever. And then later when they put it out again and you were able to order it again, but it was only like a limit 3 per. For people who had bought like the initial 5 or whatever, they couldn't buy a Wondar when it came back around again. They couldn't get it. There were a lot of people who were like, it won't let me add it to my cart. And my wife's account, she can't add any to hers. which was really scummy because that means that guy bought 10 originally between him and his wife.
Yeah.
Because he was looking to scalp.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons they do that. So I wonder if for somebody who's already bought the limit, if they were to go back on there, if they could buy more now. That would be interesting to see. So Nolan says, I get where I lose interest in lines from time to time, but that's why I collect multiple lines. And that's a good way to do it too. Definitely collect multiple lines. Collect what you enjoy.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, it's not fun if you're just collecting just to collect.
Oh yeah.
So my buddy's
then it's a
Customs.
hassle.
Yeah.
He's saying mini comic Stratos with neck feathers and the red belt. Would you buy it? I think this is directed at you, Bobby.
No, I don't think so.
Nah, he can just go pay some Etsy guy, $8 for the feathers and the belt, and then go pick up a mini comic Stratos at Walmart or Target right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, nah. I'm more into I like the regular Stratos, the regular gray and with the red. The mini comic it's okay.
Would you go out of your way if they had a Bluebeard Stratos?
No, unless it was the original Bluebeard Stratos, like the vintage. But I wouldn't care like a repainted one. No.
Right.
No.
And my buddy's Custom says this was directed at everyone. I'll be completely honest. No, I would not worry about it at all because I've already got a mini comic Stratos. And if I go get New Eternia Stratos, guess what? I've got that con exclusive already. Not a big deal to me. And my buddy's Custom saying he prefers the gray Stratos too. And I got to agree. I prefer the gray Stratos over the mini comic.
Me too.
I just think he looks
prefer
better.
the red wings over the blue wings. That's why I hated it in Origins that they did the blue wings. It never made sense to me. Well, that was a bummer.
The worst part about it is too, they had a perfect opportunity to swap the colors and put that on the mini comic Stratos.
Yeah.
Why keep it the same backpack and the same colors? Give people a reason to buy it. That way, especially if, okay, you got the original gray Stratos. Yeah, I don't really want this mini comic Stratos. And that's why it's sitting up on the shelves. Now, if you put the reverse colors in there, it wouldn't have been sitting on them shelves because people who had the gray one that wanted the reverse wings and backpack. Right. Well, now I'm going to go buy this one so I can put that pack on this one. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a, guy over at Mattel.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose the blue. I don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, and then the worst part is because they did do the bigger red wings and the, they did all that with the Rey Mysterio.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So if they did it, and then they released a later version of Rey Mysterio with the same crap from Stratos. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, keep what you had. Oh man.
Yeah.
And again, red wings is the proper Stratos.
It's true.
Why not?
Agree. Yep.
You go for it. Paint them. There you go. It's true. You do. Again, I think that was another thing that bugged me. So when I think it was actually my buddy's Customs was doing a live stream on IG, and he was talking about wanting the variant colored and not being able to find that version of Rey Mysterio. So like I went live and I went looking for it, and I found that Kids Warehouse website where they had this stuff amazingly cheap. They advertised the first version of Rey Mysterio. So we picked them up and we were all excited. We're going to get this first version of Rey Mysterio, which is astronomically high priced on the third party market. And then when it showed up, it was the second version of Rey Mysterio with the same freaking wings and backpack we already had. So mad. Then later they changed the picture to reflect that. All right. So Highly Articulated is just jumping in as we're wrapping up, saying, just jumping in to say, hello, kidults. I love. What's funny about that too is like at first I was really kind of like, I don't really like this term. As time's going on, it's like I really don't care either because I enjoy what I do. So call me whatever. If you mean it, mean whatever. If you don't mean it, mean cool. I'm good with it. So better he says, I have. Child. Yes, always better than man child. Adam saying, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Well,
We
it's
don't
more
either.
MOTU stuff. Apparently, maybe I'm the only one that knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But definitely, Adam, go back, rewatch from the beginning. You'll see some stuff there. And of course, man, if you've ever got questions about any of this stuff, MOTU stuff, if you're wondering about something that's out there, you can come talk to me. And if I don't know, I know exactly who to direct you to that will know that answer, because I know a lot of really awesome, knowledgeable people in the community from all different walks of life that know way more than even I do. So, Eldor saying, great to see you again there. Highly articulated, my good sir. Good evening. My buddy's custom saying, yeah, after Kid Warehouse ghosted me when I told them the picture was the wrong figure, they finally changed it. Yeah, I noticed that too, because I complained. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and cut it out here. But everybody, thank you for jumping in and joining us tonight. It was good to see everybody. And, well, I'll see most of you this upcoming Saturday for another episode of Ostradamus Toys Live as we jump into the next Legions class.
Oh, wow.
So get ready for that. And if you are into Legions, definitely join us, because that's always another really, really fun thing to talk about, And Scott Baker saying, aren't you supposed to be watching a movie? Wait, who's supposed to be watching a movie? Is that me? Oh, okay. Adam. Okay, so apparently Adam's supposed to be watching a movie. Oops, I just blew his cover all over live internet. Sorry.
So what happens? You go on there live in the chat,
right? Yeah, it's never hidden now. All right, everybody. Well, thank you again for joining, and we will see you all next time. And hopefully we'll have